But Stephen Mensah is on the ground. I understand he is interacting with Rashid Tanko Computer of the NDC. Let's take you there live.
And they didn't see anything wrong there. Today, did you see anybody handle even a weapon? Even a stick. None of the police even holding a stick. Just there. And they were playing with the voters. This is what John Mama has promised, that it will be peaceful. Come and vote and go. It was so lovely. Unlike our own opponent, macho men, if you see one of their muzzles, I don't know whether they were going for Ukraine to fight. Look at how they brutalize people. And I'll watch, it won't happen. We'll make sure the election is peaceful. The people have voted. The verdict is very clear. And they have given a good verdict for the NDC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tanko.
I'm grateful.
I am still interested in how you got these results.
How
are you getting this
You were
result?
saying NDC cannot collate results. MPP cannot collate now. They don't have results. Ask them. They don't have. See, we are ahead of them. We have done it. I'm telling you, the next few minutes, I'll tell you, we have finished the results. Sharp. And they are going 94.
What's the percentage?
Oh, of course, we are still populated. Currently, we are doing 63.45.
Currently, you are doing 63.45?
Yes.
For Baba Jamal?
Yes.
Right. Finally, for me, people in this constituency say that there's lack of development. You people have taken them for granted.
Master, the results did not indicate that. The results as we have has given us confidence. They have given us enough pat at our back that you have done well NDC. That's what the results is indicating.
But have you done well?
If you don't do well, will they vote for us?
But there's no voter turnout. They are saying that people are not showing up because the NDC has taken the constituency for granted.
My brother, this is a month of Ramadan. Ramadan is a revered, is one of the pillars. Fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So in the month of Ramadan, our Muslims shouldn't have been subjected to this. But it's constitutional. You see, the constitution is 60 days. You cannot do anything about it. We have to do it. So we have to rather congratulate them for coming out, despite this religious inclination, to vote just to do this national assignment. I give time out to the Nima people. Look, some religious sects, left to them, they won't come. You know, in Ghana, there are some religious sects. There are certain days when you ask them to come to vote, they won't vote. Is that not true? You know it. I don't need to tell you, they won't vote.
Yeah.
You see, but this religious group, despite that national patriotism, they came out. Some will not come. You can't force them. It's religious inclination. And so we are good to go. We are happy with the turnout. What has happened, Albert, we're expecting a huge one, but because of the religion and the weather today, I can assure you, we are good to go with what we have received.
That is Tanko Computer.
The Global Info Analytics poll indicates that you'll be winning by some 75%. Currently, you are doing 63%.
That's why we're talking of the issue about turnout. That's why we are talking religion and other things. Yes.
You're right.
One last comment from you will be about the. You talk about data. One other concern will be sanitation in this constituency, social vices. These are concerns from these residents. They say this it's unacceptable given that you've been in this constituency from 1992.
That is why we are saying that we lost the election in 2016. We came back strongly. 2024, won the election. We've started. The people have confidence in the government promises and what we intend doing. They've started seeing it, that what we promised, we are delivering. The local government minister came to inspect those areas, the drainage and all that, even before the by-election could come in. The government was doing something about it. So I can assure you, it will be thing of the power. We'll resolve it for them.
What will be your response to your brother, Salam Mustafa? He says Ghanaians should be given former President Nana Addo his stone, given that he has done enough for the Ghanaian public.
And they got 38.2%. What kind of oxymoron is that? These people, when they voted, and with all what they are talking about, they got 38.2% in the general election. Ignore that one.
He also talks about your aura. He says it's a fiasco.
Fiasco? Who told you it's a fiasco?
That's what he says.
Is President John Dramani Mahama the Chief Justice? Is he in charge of the judiciary?
But he's in charge, or he's a supervisor?
No. You see, you can't behave like a military depot. The judiciary should be allowed to do their work. We have arrested people, we've sent them to court. The court is handling them. Due process of law.
Don't you think this due process of law is
I think this question you should send that one to Chief Justice.
Very well, thank you so much. So that was Rashid Tanko Computer, and he has been explaining and giving his responses to Salam Mustafa. Previously, he has told us about the aura. Salam Mustafa indicates that it's a fiasco. He also talks about the development in the Ayawaso East constituency. He talks about it being a delay since the NDC has been in this constituency since 1992. Rashid Tanko Computer says this will not happen under the President John Dramani Mahama administration. He says the ministers are top of their game and they are working to ensure the development of this constituency. Currently, what you would notice will be that sorting is done for 2 of these polling stations here at Ayawaso East constituency. We'll be left with the polling station 3 here at the Roman Catholic School, I beg your pardon, which is part of the Coalition Center for the Ayawaso East constituency. That's what we can report so far here from the Coalition Center.
Ground. In the studio, I have with me the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics, Musa Tankwa. Thankfully, Osman Ayariga, Deputy National Youth Organizer for the NDC and CEO of the National Youth Authority, is in the studio with us. Thankfully, we also have Salam Mustafa, National Youth Organizer for the NPP. Gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I'll come to you shortly, but let me take you to the grounds. Jacqueline and Yeboah is on standby to give us updates. Jacqueline, what can you report?
So in the Lima Street, and I've been gathering interesting stories here, interesting conversations with people around. But then what you saw, some scenes that you saw earlier was the police escorting the presiding officers to send the ballot boxes, the pink sheets to the coalition center. But then interestingly, we also saw some of them just walking in the streets, moving to the coalition center. Some of them were did not have police personnel with them, but some were also guarded by the police personnel walking through the street with the ballot boxes headed to the coalition center. But then some few minutes ago, we saw that the police, some coming from the other side, I mean, right behind me, they were coming from the other side in the police patrol cars with the ballot boxes, and that's what has been going on here. But we see a couple of people trooping in, heading towards the coalition center, which is just roughly about 10 minutes walk away from where I am. But in town right now, the atmosphere here, people, some of them are expressing excitement, but until they hear the final results for tonight, I'm sure they wouldn't have much to say. That is what we are gathering right here in the streets of Nima.
And Jacqueline, we'll be back at you shortly because we know that a lot is happening. You've been engaging some of the constituencies. Well, we're looking forward to the outcome of the results. You tell us that the police is currently guarding the presiding officer to the EC strong room to collate the figures. Now, we just heard shortly before we came to Jacqueline and Yeboah from Tanko Computer of the NDC. Tell us that the results they have gotten from their strong room indicates that the NDC is leading with 63.66%. The NPP is following closely with 23.90%. Others, 12.56%. Rejected ballots, 96, and total valid votes, 14,389. That's the data we have from Rashid Tanko Computer. I'll come back to the studio. Salam, you had the floor before we went on that brief break. You were just making a point. You must be scared because these are figures trickling in and it appears that the NDC is leading.
What's the source?
This is from the NDC strong room.
Believing computer is like trusting that the devil has repented.
I see.
Yes. I don't see computer's credibility that his figures would be authoritative enough for me to accept. We also have coalition.
And what are the figures telling you based on your collations?
I would wait till we are done
with
our coalition, then we can interrogate the numbers. And the EC as well, there are official sources that we can work with, but not the NDC's collated figures. No, I cannot work with that. I mean, I have been around for a while and I know the operatives. I know what computer is capable of doing. So I would not, you know, take hook, line, and sinker their numbers. Be it as it may, I have mentioned to you already, even the people staying away alone can be a protest to government. And this election, this particular by-election, if you go to the ground and have conversations with the people, the responses you elicit, the views, the remarks are quite telling. And I have told you already, of course, nobody here can behave as though we don't know that this is a heavily NDC-inclined constituency. But when they begin to talk to you and tell you that we think that the NDC has taken us for granted, then it means a lot. Also, the whole construct we have witnessed over the period, Baba Jamal winning the primaries and the majority in Parliament, trying to comatose it, and as if the establishment from the Jubilee House also opposed to it, and the grandstanding between party and government, you know, all playing out. You can see a myriad of issues mixed together. But in all of it, I am consoled by the people who talk to us in confidence that, look, every by-election, government does something for the people. But in our case, we are neglected. We are not taken seriously. We are taken for granted. So if the people do not turn out, you know, on the day, it is also a form of protest to government. Because if the turnout were high, it would have been said that because the government is doing well. But today, I am not sure that that can be the narrative. The people cannot be enjoying, the people cannot be happy and refuse to come and vote for the party that is making them happy.
We heard from Tanko just give us various reasons as to why the turnout may be low, but I'll come back to you.
I am fasting. I'm a Muslim.
Let me
I am fasting.
Osman
I've been going
Ayariga.
there to campaign.
You think the
today,
reasons
I'm still fasting. I still hold my fast.
Osman Ayariga, you're fasting as well, but you've been on the ground. You've been on the ground.
He's also fasting.
Yes, you've been on the ground.
Even Musa Dako is fasting.
Of the figures trickling in, we're just hearing from Rashid Tanko Computer, and he tells us that the NDC is leading based on the initial data they have.
Yes, I am not surprised, and I already stated and I continue to state that even if the turnout is 1% of the total register, out of that 1%, the NDC is going to make not less than 60% of that 1% of the total turnout. Now, for the issues of voter turnout, especially when it has to do with by-elections, I believe we all have been able to monitor by-elections in various and several by-elections across the length and breadth of this country and over a very long period to understand the percentage of turnout and most of the issues that actually result to the percentage of turnout. Now, you can have a by-election in a particular constituency, and if you're not careful, it actually falls on a market day. It actually affects turnout. Now, you can have a by-election in another constituency, and if it falls on a particular day, due to some religious obligations, it also affects the turnout. So there are so many issues that actually determines the ultimate turnout of by-elections. And with the peculiar situation within the Ayawaso East constituency, you agree with us that we're in the month of Ramadan, and that entire area is populated by a huge population of Muslims. So it is clear, and usually when people start the Ramadan, somewhere in the middle of Ramadan, maybe in second week, third week, they generally become very weak, the body becomes weak. So even to go out and perform certain duties becomes a difficulty. So for someone to go out and vote, he feels that, well, it's in the month of Ramadan, I just want to stay in my room and pray and remain righteous and remain calm, etc. In addition to that, also, some also were of the view that, oh, Honorable Baba Jamal has already won, so even my one vote would not really, you know, add anything to him. So there are so many issues that ultimately lead to the kind of results that you would see. But we are not surprised that we're currently doing about 65%. I personally expect it to go higher, considering the kind of responses that we got going around to campaign. The people of Ayawaso East are very, very happy with the performance of this government. They are very excited with what His Excellency is doing with the economy, what he's doing with the country, what it's doing so far as jobs are concerned, etc. They are very excited about that. And that is why you would see the kind of results that you would see today. I heard my brother saying that unlike Akwetia, he hasn't seen them constructing roads, he hasn't seen the party doing A, B, C, D. And that, again, clearly shows that if they were really in Ayawaso East constituency, they would know the actual needs and hear what the people actually wanted in terms of Ayawaso East constituency. Ayawaso East constituency is populated, but in terms of its geographical land size, it's very small. You take from the Nima roundabout all the way to Accra Girls, and you take the other route from the Kanda all the way back to TV3 and back. You realize that most of the major roads in that constituency are already tarred. If you take the other route to Berlin Bridge and back to the market and the roundabout, most of those roads are tarred. The only ones left are just maybe the few roads leading to people's houses or the front of their houses. So you realize that Nima is, or Ayawaso East constituency, in terms of most of this infrastructure, is well developed. And most of the things, one of the key issues that actually confronted them when we went around to campaign had to do with their drainages. Most of the drainages are open drainages, and we needed to assure them that there's actually the plan to cover most of those drains. So if you sit here and you start mentioning they didn't do roads here, they didn't do this, clearly it means that you were not even in the constituency. Remember I said that he and his people, they were not in the constituency. I'm sure they were running an online campaign in Ayawaso East constituency. If they were on the grounds, they would know the needs and the wants of the people and understand what the issues were in Ayawaso East constituency. So don't try to use, you and I know that in this month of Ramadan, it's very difficult to even people to go to work. Sometimes in the month of Ramadan, people ask for duties. Oh, now we want to do half day, we want to close at 3, just because of the month of Ramadan. So you bear with me. And it's also a working day. Today is Tuesday. So what it actually means is that if somebody who has to leave home by 5 a.m. to go to work and will close at 5 p.m., automatically that person is out of the numbers you are speaking about. And it's a weekday, as I said. So many things actually contribute to the factors so far as the turnout is concerned. So my brother, don't come and talk about the government is not performing and we should give Nana Addo his stone. What stone are we going to give Nana Addo? Oh, my brother, what stone are we going to? In fact, the only stone we give Nana Addo is the National Cathedral stone that they couldn't use to build. And they said they were bringing one from Israel, a special stone, to be put in the middle of the card. I'm sure that the stone will be waiting for. So please, your party has been booted out. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is performing. The people of this country are happy. They know the country is moving in the right direction. What we expect you to do is to be a very formidable opposition so that you can direct and give us proper propositions and proper suggestions so far as solutions are concerned.
Okay.
Don't pick on the minors and try to make them majors.
We'll come back to you, but then I'm just looking at the data that we have right here in our strong room. The JoyNews room, our research team, they've been crunching the numbers as well. Current total data that we have out of 113 polling stations, we have numbers for 7 out of the 113 polling stations, and based on the number we have, the NDC is leading in this race, 538 based on the numbers we have after collating 7 out of the 113 polling stations. The NPP following closely with 204. But I'll come to Musa Dankwa, because in your earlier prediction, you tipped that Baba Ali of the NPP will be securing some 21%. But if the data given to us by Rashid Tango Computer is anything to go by, we're seeing that that number has gone up. We have here, based on what we received from from Rashid Tango Computer, 23.90%.
It's the same as the poll. I mean, the poll has margin of error of 3%.
Okay.
So if you are 21%, you are getting 23%, okay. It's in line. Okay. What we are noticing is the swapping of numbers from Baba Jamal to the other candidates, probably the independent candidates and the other candidates from the same NDC stock. So you could see that Baba Jamal may have lost, or likely have lost numbers to Sanda.
Umar Sanda.
Umar Sanda. Yes. So, I mean, if you look at the poll, from what we have, Umar Sanda was supposed to be around 3%. If you add the margin of error, that would take him to 6%. So he probably done about another 6% better than what we said he was going to do. And Baba Jamal is doing below, about 9% lower than what we said he was going to do. So it's not a complete departure from the polls, just that, numbers have been swapped between the NDC candidates, one with the main one and the other independent. And
with Umaru breaking away from the NDC, did that affect the base at all based on the survey you did? I mean, from what we have received, certainly he has taken some numbers from Baba Jamal. Yes, obviously, but not significant enough to lose a seat. So, I mean, if it was probably in a swing constituency where the numbers are very tight, then things could have been different. And if your projections actually hold, and we see the margins quite wide based on what we are receiving, what would that mean for the NDC politically and even the opposition NPP? No, I mean, if you are NDC, you shouldn't be happy that you have underperformed the 2024 numbers. You should be looking to maximize that number and ensure that you are more popular. But I think if you take out the breakaway from the NDC guy who is going independent, if you add that number to Baba Jamal's number, you'll probably be getting the same number that Naza got in the last election. So probably nothing has changed in Nima tactically. And let me come to Osman. You're on the ground. Is this independent candidate that came out of the NDC, is that of concern to you? Is he affecting your fortunes on the ground?
You cannot, once you have an offshoot who is campaigning on the ground, whether you like it or not, he has family members. Even if nobody will vote for him, he'll vote for himself. And at least in an election, you don't disregard even a single voter. So I won't sit here and say it hasn't affected us in any way. Even if he's taking 2 votes out of the NDC, it has affected us by 2 votes. So I would agree that yes, the emergence of the independent candidates may have affected us in the Ayawaso East constituency, but it depends on the margins. It may be 0.1%, it may be 0.001%, but whatever the percentage may be, invariably, that would have been our votes. As I said, even if it's 1 or 2 votes, it's still our votes. So I'm not going to say that 2 votes are insignificant. In an election, even 1 vote can make or cause a difference. So I would obviously say that his emergence as an independent candidate, I think, could have been avoidable, but the national chairman made sure we tried all possible means to speak to him to see how he could revert on that decision. But people are convicted by certain actions or by certain decisions. Interestingly, what people don't know is that he didn't even contest for the primaries. It's not as if he contested for the primaries and even lost. He didn't even pick a nomination form for the primaries to even contest. So I would say that it has affected us, even if it's insignificant.
Because he didn't have 10,000 to share. Don't you think so?
Are you?
Smart. Salam, I know you're eager to speak, but then let him make his point really. And post this election, should you even win, how do you plan to galvanize his base in that constituency to ensure that he supports the winner of the election?
Well, we continue to speak. In fact, in our rounds, we continue to speak to the candidate, we continue to speak to his supporters, and they make us understand that, yes, they are NDC, just that they just have a different opinion so far as independent candidate is concerned. And as I told you, once the person is going independent, he has family members, he has friends, he has allies, he has classmates, he has people he sits with. So by all means, he will have people that will support him. And when you listen to them, they just tell you, oh, we are NDC, we are not leaving the party, but we just wanted to support him because of the kind of relationship we have with this person who is going independent. So the party is a congress. It will be willing to receive everybody. People leave and they come back. We are willing to receive everybody. Once you do not break our rules or you do not violate any of the constitutional requirements of the party, we are ready to receive anybody and everybody who is so willing to rejoin the NDC. But
critics argue that what exactly would you do for the people of Ayawaso East? That is your stronghold, but we are seeing very little development in the area. Should they even give you the nod again to steer the affairs of the constituency, what will you do differently?
Well, a lot is being done in Ayawaso East, and a lot will be done in Ayawaso East. if you look at development in terms of infrastructure, most of the roads you see in Ayawaso East were built under the NDC regime. Not this very John Mohammed's regime, but in the previous NDC regime. If you look at most of the drains that were constructed, were built under the NDC regime. And if you remember when we were engaging in the project of the silting and the reconstruction of major drains, there's a major drain that runs through from Kanda through Nima. All that was part of the reconstruction projects to help the people of Ayawaso East. So if you go to Ayawaso East and you look at proper infrastructural development, you know that most of those structures were built by the NDC. That has to do with infrastructure. Now, when you look at in terms of human development, in terms of the project that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is seeking to do, obviously the people of Ayawaso East will not, and shall not be left out. Talking of projects such as 1 million coders, such as the National Apprenticeship Program, such as the Ejumera project, etc. These are projects that is cutting across all constituencies. So the people of Ayawaso East will not and cannot be left out in all of these developments. And if you look at the various developments in terms of the various assemblies, of course, Ayawaso East also has an assembly that they cannot be left out in most of these developments. Remember, His Excellency spoke about the fact that we're soon going to put up the 24-hour economic markets in the various districts. We're going to put up various projects at the district levels, and that is why the DACF is actually now being transferred to the various assemblies in terms of the percentage, so that most of these projects can be taken to the assemblies. So obviously, Ayawaso East cannot be left out. It shouldn't be said because there's a by-election, so we should only concentrate on Ayawaso. All 275 constituencies will not be left out. The same as the districts or municipalities or metropolitans that we have, none will be left out since the reset agenda is concerned. Everybody would feel the reset agenda, including the constituency of Salam, and even where there are party headquarters in our Salam down, they would not be left out. Everybody would have a cake of the national development.
But because you're CEO of the National Youth Authority, it's imperative that I ask you this question. The boys, they want jobs. When are you giving them jobs?
Yes, I mean, the boys are being given jobs, and we continue to create jobs. You see, because of the backlog the MPP left behind, so a lot more has to be done to be able to close the margin, because the percentage of unemployment they left behind was extremely high at a point where they almost 17–18% of youth unemployment. And that is why we put all these programs and projects together. In terms of unemployment, we have graduate unemployment, and we have the group also called NEET, which is people who are not in employment, not in education, not in any form of training. And that's actually a very high figure. So we have various programs that is going to cater for all these sectors. Now we have the graduate unemployment group, which of course we have various programs such as the Jumera project to help many young graduates to go into startups, to go into business, to go into creating their own livelihood, so that we do not have a huge number of people always seeking jobs through applications, roaming with brown envelopes. And we're looking at also the people who are non-graduates and not in any form of training. That's why we're also trying to project the National Apprenticeship Program, see how we can increase the number of people who will be trained. Because of course, there's one thing being unemployed, and so another thing being unemployed and not trained. You don't even have a skill, meaning that even if there's an opening, it's very difficult for you to take advantage of that. So there are programs that are being rolled out to make sure that we will get to where we want to get to. To reset something is going to take a while, and that is where we are. At least His Excellency has a 4-year mandate. We've just done a year and a month, or a year and 2 months, and you can see the results. You can see the good works. You can see Ghanaians are extremely excited by the good work he's doing. And above all, interestingly, is that you can do all this, but if you don't have an enabling economic environment, it's very difficult for everything you do to thrive. And that is why in a very long time you will see that at least the currency is gaining so much strength, and the exchange rate, the dollar is depreciating against the cedi. Unlike what they left behind, they were choking, suffocating businesses. But now businesses are being given that fresh air to breathe. They're given that lifeline to thrive again. So we realize that every agenda of the reset agenda is on course and it's working.
Let me come to you. Your brother on the other side has been smiling throughout. I know he's itching to just.
Oh, he's coming to. He's come
give
to
his
do
thoughts about what is happening.
A lot of propaganda. So
the critics argue that because the NDC, they have executive power, they are in government, they are ruling, and so they have the advantage of incumbency. Do you think that is playing out in this
by-election? Okay, fine.
Of course, the incumbency advantage is there. And some of the stories we have heard today is the sharing of money, at some of the polling stations.
You've seen them share money?
I won't say I saw, but the stories are one too many.
Oh, okay.
Indeed, I got to a certain polling station, and one of our agents approached and said, there were people who were sharing money, and they were trying to get a video recording. So we have asked that they should try and get the recording sent to us, and I'm sure once.
And when it comes, please share with us.
We will do well.
Share with all of us.
For all of us to be abreast with the happenings. I know my brother very well. So when I see that he's come and talking slowly, I know that there's something is wrong. Otherwise,
why? You have the opinion.
I know him. He would come on vociferous,
But he's in power now. Politics, the game.
I said I know him. I know him. When the issues...
Now I'm calm because Baba Jamal has won, so I have to be calm.
No, I
have to be calm.
When the issues are difficult for you to surmount, you see, you submit to it. And I see submission from my brother, Osman Ayariga. You see, it's difficult defending a bad government, a non-performing government. And I'm happy that you put to him one or two issues. He will not be able to count 1, 2, 3 developmental issues going on in Ayawaso East as we speak. All of us have gone there, and we have seen what pertains. The roads that we have mentioned, these are major roads. The Accra girls to Kanda, to the 10 around the Nima police station and all that. But when you take the runabout and going in, you know that that road is in a mess. And some of the inner roads as well. And of course, you know how cramped up the place is, and social amenities is a problem in the community. So when you get the opportunity and you make it look as if all is rosy, it is not fair to the people who are under the pressure of lack of social amenities. And when politicians keep doing this, we erode the confidence of the people. And that's why we would see, semblance of low turnout, because when the people feel that their issues are not being attended to, they will lose confidence. And I think that we should stop doing some of these things. Then you press, Osman on issues of jobs and so on and so forth. Look, I am a youth activist, not just a national youth organizer. I said this time without number. I worry about the things that, worry young people in general in our country, in our society. Because I cannot be doing well when many of my colleagues and contemporaries are not doing well. That's why in this country, our motherland must be working for everybody. Today, the NDC promised us a major flagship of 24-hour economy with Agenda 133, where they say they would run, state institutions 24 hours a day with 3 shifts of 8 hours each, where I can do mine in the morning, Osman does his in the afternoon, then Musa can come and do his in the evening, and we all take the same pay. Today it's not happening. Young people are still on the streets. And unemployment has not seen any significant tackle under the presidency of John Dramani Mahama, when he gave so much hope that he was coming to tackle the canker of unemployment. Today we are rather seeing an exacerbation of the issue. You promised an automatic rotation of nurses. It's not happening. Absorbing trained teachers and nurses, you are not able to do so. A program like a Juma Ura program that I have some affinity for, it's been done in a very haphazard manner. You start with a promise of about 100,000, and we see that just about 10,000 or so is budgeted for. that is a serious problem, because you may not be able to find, white-collar jobs for everybody to do, but some of these apprenticeship programs also come in handy to help our brothers and sisters. So to cut such a significant program down for whatever reason we do not know is quite a blow to the young people who are looking for opportunities. Then most of the promises they made to the youth, in fact, all of it is a compendium of scam, total scam. 1 million coders program is not happening because they promised to train 1 million coders, okay? That translates into about 250,000 per year. Last year, did they produce 250,000 coders? No. This year, is there any allocation in the budget to train 250,000 people? No. So, day in and out, everything that is happening shows that President John Dramani Mahama completely has failed the young people in this country. And like we say, if in the first year, second year, that we feel he still has a lot of energy and the backing of his government and party is not able to do so, I wonder how the government will perform when it goes into its lame duck period from next year onwards, when they go into an auto drive for succession. Then you do not expect anything to come out of it. That is why some of these things, also translate into the ground, and you find, some of these poor showing as far as people's interests are concerned. Because if the people feel hopeless, you don't expect that they get up and still come and vote for you, and give Baba Jamal work to do, whilst they are sitting jobless. Or my brother, who is a CEO, has a very fantastic job, he is okay, then he tells the people that you people there, you are good enough to wait, you be on the touch lines, and that we are thinking about you, when in actual sense, they are being left behind. That is a worrying spectacle.
I'll come back to Usman for a response to some of the concerns you've raised, but I still have with me Musa Dankwa, and I can see on his laptop he's receiving some figures. You want to walk us through what you have? Tell us, based on what we have on our screens as well, we've updated the numbers. If you're following on all our social media handles, we're JoyNews on TV. So far, we received 8 out of 113 polling stations. And based on the numbers we have received, Baba Jamal is currently leading in the Ayawaso East by-election. But Musa, you're about to make your point.
Yeah, I mean, what you're having is far less constituency areas declared than I think we actually have.
Okay.
But look, nothing has changed drastically.
Okay.
As I said, Baba Jamal is going to win, albeit with lower percentage than we had given him. He'll probably do 9% lower.
9%?
Lower, yes.
Okay.
And that 9%, this is how it's split. About 3% or 2% will go to MPP candidate, and the remaining 6% goes to the other candidate, largely the independent, who is an NDC offshoot. So if you actually add what Baba Jamal would get and what the other candidates who are normally NDC will get, you're going to get overall Baba Jamal's original numbers in the poll. People probably at the last minute decided to vote for the independent more than they said to us.
And some critics, they argue that most of these by-elections would mostly tilt to the favor of the ruling party. Based on the data you have, is that the case? Are they enjoying the goodwill of the people based on incumbency?
Look, there's no doubt that the party is popular in the constituency, though they have issues. If you look at the polling data, about 81% of them are saying that the country is heading in the right direction. Only 18 are saying wrong direction. If you look at the performance of the president, about 81% said he's doing well, compared to 18% who say it's not doing well. So those metrics normally are near the benefit of the ruling party. And also, 75% of the voters in the constituency are NDC affiliates. So these numbers really, it will take a jaw-dropping, I don't know what to call it, to see the numbers swing in a way that the NDC will lose the seat. But at least it's a sign that If you stand united, you tend to get the numbers. If you are divided, you see some numbers drop off. I mean, I think it's quite clear that NDC has suffered from that, from the independent candidate.
But why is Ayawaso East even important?
In fact, it's not important because it doesn't change anything. I mean, it doesn't change arithmetic.
Osman, you disagree?
No, but it's important to the extent that the people need representation.
I'm coming. I mean, it doesn't change the parliamentary arithmetic.
Okay.
Or we can't leave it to be like SAL, where nobody was representing them. I mean, it will not change the dynamics of parliament. It won't change anything. But people, by law, need to be represented. I mean, Akudes was far more important to NDC than, what do you call it? Than this.
Ayawaso East.
Ayawaso East. So, you know, Ayawaso East, I mean...
You don't think it's... Okay, but let's look at...
The NDC, you see, in the general election, is very important because you need to max the numbers, get the margins there, and add to the other areas to win the national election. But in the by-election, local election, that doesn't... The importance are not the same.
But based on the individuals you sampled, what should any government or candidate prioritize if they should win the seat?
No, we didn't go there to find out their issues, their problems.
I see.
We just wanted to see who was going to win. If we were doing survey to see the issues and what needs to be done, we would have taken a different approach.
I see.
But certainly, everywhere nationally, the key issues, which as Salam has mentioned, for voters in this country today is unemployment. I mean, unemployment is key for everybody in this country. That's number one issue, followed by economy and education. The economy has lowered a bit because people see that probably it's working, but it's still important for them. But unemployment, jobs is the biggest challenge facing this government today.
Let's talk about security, because we saw that today incident-free. As a journalist, I'm shocked, to say the least. But this is the new kind of administration that the police is promising us. You're nodding your head in disapproval.
Of what you said, because Nima is not a violent place.
No, but then in every election, there's always that margin of concern when it comes to security. And so it's quite shocking for me that this is incident-free, even though we know Nima is largely peaceful.
It depends on the constituency and then the stake. You know, Nima is profiled to look certain way, but in terms of violence, it's not. When it comes to election violence, Nima is one of the places that nothing happens. Things get there peacefully and people disperse. The areas you have the hotspot, we know them. Nima is not one of them.
We know them, you say. But then we're happy that no journalist has been assaulted. That's something we're very glad that nothing happened.
They are fasting, you know.
I see. Now we understand what is happening. So people are fasting Lent and both with the Ramadan. But then let me come to you, because you had a point to make, Salam. You were raising concerns about how this administration is faring in that constituency. Regardless of who wins that seat, what should they prioritize?
A lot. The constituency is a microcosm of the country, because you find almost every ethnic extraction in that constituency. So I have people who are very close to there. So I understand the dynamics playing around. So the reflection of government is seen in the results, in the turnout. If the people were happy, I'm sure that they would have come out in droves to endorse, the work of His Excellency the President and his party. If the data by Musa Dankwa is being used to work. 81%, approve of the president's, work and say he's in the right direction. Then we should be seeing it reflect in turnout, in the number of people who come out to vote for his party to give him the necessary push. But when the narrative and the action do not correspond, then it is a bit incongruous. And that's what we are seeing at play here. Clearly, there is something wrong. And I think that the government should sit and rethink its reset agenda. They won a monumental mandate, presidential and parliamentary. It's for them to focus on the needs of their people, the constituencies, and what would, the aspirations of the people, how to get them fulfilled, than wasting time on, chasing political opponents and doing things that, do not really add anything to the governance. And that's why, almost every major promise of the NDC today is falling in tatters. Look, like it or not, you must admit that utility prices have shot up, much to the chagrin of the Ghanaian people. And if you go to Ayawaso East, constituency, they would not be happy with the increases in utility prices and how much they have to pay for water and electricity. These are germane issues that, confront the Ghanaian people today. So when we say everything, then my brother would tell me, and you see, dollar has gone down, and petrol is this. Look, the suffering of the people goes beyond everything happening in this country. Dollar is down. You have given cocoa farmers a haircut.
I'll come back to you in the studio. I'm told I have an update for you from the grounds. Fatal Bayaga is joining us live. On your screens, we can see the EC Collation Center as well. So results will be declared shortly because they are trickling in from all the polling centers. Fatal, what can you report?
So and this is done with its collation here at the Frankie's Hotel. It's been very, the noise here has been very deafening because the party members or supporters have already begun jubilating. But that white board that you see behind me, the NDC is done. 113 out of 114 polling stations. And based on what we're seeing here, the NDC's candidate had 63.3% of the votes, and then the NPP's candidate, Baba Yusuf Ali, has 23.45%. So that's what the NDC has been able to collate at this point. And the party says that they have won the election, even though the EC is yet to do its own collation and then eventually declare who would be the winner of this election. But for the NDC, they said that they trust what they've done, and their candidate, Baba Jamal, has won this particular seat for the NDC again. But then, instead of 70 votes that they garnered in the 2024 election, it's come down to 63%. I have the acting director of elections of the governing party, Mahdi Jibril, to talk to us about what they've been able to do so far to garner this particular result. I'm sure you were not expecting to get 63%. Maybe you expected more. How do you react to this?
No, we are not expecting more. Usually in urban constituency, when you are running by elections, turnout are usually difficult. So we knew that we'll win the elections, but we are not expecting even 61%. But we knew we won the elections.
But do you think that, the 63% that you've gotten today, you think that, perhaps the party has not been able to garner so much votes? I'm saying this because it means that there's a decline, even though you might attribute it to the fact that voter turnout has been very low. But there's been a very significant decline from 70 to 63 at this point.
Yes, there is a decline, but also if you look at the votes, we are saying that turnout usually in by-elections, especially when it's an urban constituency, and especially in the constituency like Ayawaso East. So we knew that we are not going to get a high number, but we know we'll win the elections. We are clear in our mind. Right from the beginning, we'll win the elections.
Global Info Analytics, in fact, tipped your candidate to win by 75%. It's now 63. Your reaction?
I was surprised when he projected that number. I was surprised.
How? Why were you surprised?
these are local elections. In fact, you should also have watched the 5 candidates. They are all homeboys. So the dynamics will not play the normal dynamics. That's what you should have looked at. So we are looking at the candidate, their strengths. All of them, especially the 3 candidates, they are all strong in the constituency. So when I saw 75% that Musa projected, I was surprised though.
So you think he's gotten it wrong?
No, I knew that you got it wrong. I know you got it wrong. He didn't analyze it well to know the strength of the candidates.
You're not teaching him how to do his work?
Pardon me?
You're not teaching him how to do his work?
No, he's doing his work. I was not looking at that one because I was watching the dynamics of the candidates. And that is what I worked towards it. And I knew we'll win the elections. But because of, especially the independent candidate, I know there will be a game. And I knew that many people will not come out to vote. Because the independent candidates will also create some apathy. Because either they should come out to vote for NDC or vote for the independent. So they decide not to come out to vote. So for us, that's what we are looking at, not the MVP candidates.
But there are also concerns that perhaps because of what happened during your primaries, some of the voters are clearly, based on what we are hearing, that they are clearly aggrieved that Baba Jamal shared television sets among other things. But it looks like the step that you took as a party were not deterrent enough. And that's the reason why we are seeing this low turnout today. What would you say about this?
No, you see, again, let's look at the elections in the fasting month of Ramadan. In fact, this is also first time we were holding election in the Muslim community in the month of Ramadan. Even when we were campaigning, we were not doing campaigning from the morning up to around 3 p.m. before you start your campaign. So that also affected the turnout. Because if you watch the turnout in the beginning, from 7 to 12, the turnout was very low. Because usually Muslims, after waking up at dawn, most people go back to sleep, and other people also go back to work. So we knew that the turnout would be so low, but it now depends on our mobilizational strength. That plays this game. It's about organization. We won this election based on pure organization.
So going ahead or going forward, what does the party intend to do, particularly in addressing issues of election malpractice like what we saw during your party primaries?
In fact, you will agree with me that you are on the ground. We have learned lessons from that. So you couldn't even report anywhere that party members are giving something to come out to vote. It's about mobilization. We've learned lessons from that. In fact, that is why the NDC tried to set up the committee to look up into those issues, so that in the future, those things will not play in our election. In fact, yes, if you look at also the turnout, the issues of the primaries also affected the turnout. The issues, so some people also feel that, okay, if some people have gotten television, why should I come out to vote for these elections? So all these things place in this election, but we've learned lessons from it. But knowing this challenge, we came to these grounds of elections with a master tactics to win these elections.
Thank you so much for your time. That's the acting director of elections of the governing party, Mahdi Jibril, talking to us about their own internal coalition, which just finished a few minutes ago. For them, they trust their team, and they know that this election, the NDC has won it. Maybe not up to 70%, but 63%, which gives Baba Jamal the opportunity to represent this very constituency in Parliament, which has been, vacant for some time now after the death of Nasser Toure. So that's been the situation. But let me just take you round. Some of the party supporters are already jubilating at this point, and we want to engage some of them to get to appreciate what is, making them so happy. Yes, even though the party says that it's done with its coalition and Baba Jamal has won, but we'll bring that to you very soon, so that you will get to appreciate the mood of the party supporters who are already dancing here at the Frankie's Hotel, and also monitoring what is happening at the Coalition Center.
Thank you so much, Fatao. Great interaction on the ground. And you can see in your shortly, we'll be putting the visuals we have from the EC Collation Center. They've also been crunching their numbers, and shortly we'll take you there just to interact with them. My colleague Stephen Mensah is on the ground, told as well. Stephen, where are you and what can you report?
We are waiting for the tabulation of the figures to be concluded and then the winner declared.
I want to pick your thoughts on what these numbers tell you. you're a numbers guy, eh? The numbers do not really show that people went out to vote today. What does this tell you? Is it that this will be happening quite consistently? By-election after by-elections, the turnout keeps remaining low.
There are factors that talks in by-elections. One of the factors that speak in by-elections is the issue of apathy, voter apathy. Other things could be economic, other things could be socio-economic, okay? Virtually, in this environment where the by-election took place, you are aware that we were having Ramadan, okay? So people coming out with that kind of enthusiasm, okay, to come out and vote is quite diminished. And issue of also apathy. So I think I could also say we couldn't hear much kind of campaign processes going on here, if you could attest to that. So I believe those are some of the things, okay, because with all that, it goes into the by-elections, okay. There are by-elections that, well, you don't record as low as 36%, 26%, 13%, 19% turnout at polling stations. And this is what we are seeing. So for us, yes, we don't have a threshold for turnout in our elections. And therefore, what matters is the outcome of the elections. And that's what we are waiting for.
Will the police presence in this constituency be a deciding factor for the low voter turnout?
Not at all. Not at all. In judging elections, when you talk about election security, the key factor that you use in measure is the intrusiveness of the presence of the police. And by intrusion, you're talking about are their presence creating intimidation atmosphere, okay? But that's not what we saw. So you can see that they were there in their numbers, but they were not intruding into the process. People had the freedom, the liberty to go and then vote. So there's no way that you can say that the presence of the police created that kind of turnout.
How soon are we going to see the declaration of the polls or final preparations, everything done for the...
From what I can see, it seems like almost all the presiding officers are in. It's just a matter of putting the figures together, calling them one after the other, and then adding the figures together. I may not be able to tell you we'll finish by 9 or 10 or 8, but for sure we're going to finish. Okay. Right.
Thank you so much, sir. So that was the director of research at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Fred Tete, and he has been given an explanation as to what the deciding factors will be for this election. He has been talking about the factors that led to those elections, the electoral process, and whether or not the police presence in a constituency may be a deciding factor for the low voter turnout. What you are seeing in your shot will be the preparations for the final declaration of who becomes the next member of parliament for Ayawaso West constituency. You would see the presiding officers of all the electoral areas currently present, of all the polling stations also present, yeah, here seated, moving one after the other, presenting their final results to the Electoral Commission officers for input. And this will be a deciding factor for the declaration of the results for the Ayawaso East constituency parliamentary elections. Well, Faustina, if you can hear me, we would have 113.
Okay, my colleague Stephen Mensah on the ground there at the EC Collation Center. You could see live visuals on your screen if you're watching on TV and on all our social media handles at JoyNews on TV. If you're listening live on Joy 99.7 FM. We could see heavy security presence at the EC Collation Center here in Accra, as we have the presiding officers march in to tender in their pink sheet. In a matter of minutes, we'll know who exactly is the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso East constituency. We have 8 out of the 113 polling centers figures displayed on your screens based on the figures we have in the Joy newsroom, figures that we have collated. We know that Baba Jamal is leading. But then we've also heard from the NDC. They've been giving us numbers from their strong room, and they're also saying that they're leading with some 63.66%. They're also predicting that the NPP is following closely with 23.90% and others 12.56%. They say, according to the data they received in their strong room, rejected ballots 96 and the total valid votes 14,386. Today, the big conversation we're having in the studio is about the low voter turnout. Our experts in the studio have been looking at the possibilities as to why exactly this is happening. Some say it's because of the day, which is on a Tuesday. People may have gone to work. Others say simply because of the Ramadan period and the Lent period. So people are fasting and so they cannot come out to vote. Largely in all the polling centers we visited, the election has been peaceful. No incident recorded. There is heavy security presence at the EC Collation Center, and we could see that live visual on your screens if you're watching on Joy News, and if you're watching on all our social media handles at Joy News on TV. But on radio, I'll just describe to you what exactly we're seeing at the EC Collation Center. Heavy security presence. We could see the police personnel there. We could also see observers, election observers, as well as presiding officers just walk towards a table that has been set by EC officials, and they're tendering in their pink sheets. Currently, they're collating the numbers, and officially the Electoral Commission will be telling us who the Member of Parliament is for the Ayawaso East constituency. You can share your thoughts with us on all our social media handles. We're Joy News on TV. I have with me in the studio Salam Mustafa, his national organizer, youth organizer for the NPP. Osman Ayariga is Deputy National Youth Organizer for the NDC. I also have with me the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa. And it's great to have this gentleman in the studio with me because they broke their fast in the studio just to show you how committed they are to election coverage and also to hear your thoughts and also share their thoughts about how the by-election is panning out. Gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Mr. Dankwa, I can see that you have monitored closely the figures. What is this telling on what we should expect in the coming days, looking at the performance of the NDC in the 2024 general election and their performance now, if the figures we're getting from the NDC stronghold is anything to go by? What would you say about their performance?
I think clearly they've been impacted by Umaru Sanders' performance. And so shows that if you are divided in your front, you pay the price. Just that this price is not heavy. They can afford this price at this stage. If it was any other swing constituency where a third party does 10%, you will be in trouble. So it's a lesson for going forward and try to resolve your issues amicably. Look, in every by-election, there are lessons to be learned. Low turnout, Nima, is not exceptionally unique in terms of overall turnouts for by-election. I think this is a lot lower because of the unique month of Ramadan and other issues that may have contributed to it. But, I mean, I don't think we should read too much into the by-election results in Ayawaso East. I don't know whether I have to go and do a post-election survey to see whether the issues of the by-election has had impact on this result, because even though in the polls about 83% were concerned about use of money in politics. They were very worried that money is becoming something that is kind of denting our politics, party politics. I don't know whether that actually had more impact on results today than they had told us. Because in the survey, those people who were concerned, still about 80% said, regardless of their concern, they were going to vote for NDC, which I find a bit worrying, but not surprising because it's a stronghold. Your party will always put the party first before anything else. But elsewhere, I don't think this would have been the norm. So we should learn that we should behave well in politics. We should minimize the use of money in politics. In the primaries, you could do that in primaries, but when it comes to general election or that kind of election, I think people could punish you for that as well. So I think they could learn a very good lesson from here, and not just NDC, but also all the political parties going forward. We know things happen, but openly like that is a bit repulsive.
And looking at the concerns being raised by the NPP, they've even threatened to take this and ensure that Baba Jamal faces justice. They argue that he's breaching not only the party constitution, but also the national constitution as well. Your thoughts on how we can deal with internal politics and the infiltration of money and vote buying?
We have had this discussion for a long time in this country, but we've never had the chance to really take the concrete steps. We need laws on campaign financing. And the law that will put a cap on how much you can spend on any election, either the primaries or the general elections. It's very important because when you put a cap on campaign financing, the candidates will be forced to go around the people cap in hand to raise money, right? And if you donate money, you must disclose beyond a certain threshold, disclose the identity of the person donating the money. So people will be very careful how they donate, because if you don't do that, you could have criminal element financing people to go into parliament. And they could hold you accountable to ransom, because if criminals are having people in parliament, when bills come about certain laws, you see them becoming like stakeholders in our own affairs. So it is in our own interest that we are able to have a campaign financing law to deal with these issues. It will take time, but we will get there if we are serious. And then also the length of campaigning. How long should the campaigning last? We can't have a 6 month, 1 year campaigning. It would drain the political parties. It's quite expensive to even mobilize, go into areas. If you're going to do this over 6 months, trust me, he would drain everything out of you. So maybe kind of a bit of restriction on how long the campaign should last. That will help reduce the cost of campaigning. And then gradually we'll begin to appreciate that clean politics is good. The good thing we have is that voters are not happy with that situation. So they want change, and that change must come soon.
And is even clean politics possible? I'll come to Osman to answer that question. You've just heard the proposal from Musa Dankwa that we need to ensure that we put a legislation on this when it comes to campaign financing. Is this something the NDC is committed to doing?
We are committed to cleaning our politicking and making it less expensive. But I think beyond the legislation, we also actually need a serious mindset reorientation, because it's usually a give and take situation. And sometimes it's a demand and supply situation. I mean, like some people said that in some constituencies, and even within that constituency, Ayawaso East, some people say, oh, we heard some people got this, so where is ours? So it's usually a demand and supply situation. And we are not going to sit here and try to play the ostrich that some of these things don't happen. So beyond the legislation, I think political parties ourselves, we need to go out there and try to change the mindset. I mean, state institutions, NGOs, SCSOs also need to step out there and try to change the mindset that as an electorate, as someone, a politician is coming to you in the name of I want to serve you. If you make demands there even before the person wins, where is he going to get those kind of finances to, you know, service those demands you are making? And beyond he also winning, how is he going to get resources to service most of the demands again that you make? you realize that even office holders, the positions they hold, especially MPs, they veer off the main or primary objective or responsibility, which is actually making laws to actually development. And most of them are forced to actually start roaming from office to office, trying to solicit funds, even from some companies as part of their CSR, to see how they can help them either drill a borehole there, construct a road there, when in actual fact, it's not really the job of an MP in terms of strictly speaking. So it's beyond legislation, it's beyond just with the politicians, right? It's a national conversation we all need to have, because it's becoming extremely expensive. And if you're not careful, it will rather go to who is wealthy and not who is actually worthy to become a politician or lead their country. But I want to also thank the good people of the Ayawaso East constituency for the resounding victory reports in Honorable Baba Jamal. And of course, this is a further assurance of the good works His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is doing. And for that matter, they have reaffirmed that by voting massively.
But the EC is yet to officially declare.
Oh, but we have our provisional results. We've won by 63.3%. I'm sure at the end of the day, you will see that that is the result. I'm speaking from our stronghold. What we have, 100% results, and we are still waiting for the MPP's results. Ever since they lost the 2024 elections, collating results has become a very difficult thing for the MPP. Went to Ablekuma, was it Ablekuma West, Ablekuma North? It was very difficult for them to come out with their results several hours after the election, when the NDC had already published its results. Went to a swing constituency, Akwetia, the NDC took the seat away from the MPP. We've come to the NDC stronghold. We have taken the seat again. So you will see that due to the good works of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is reflecting and is manifesting that the government and the party have become so attractive. People believe in what he's doing and they find it very attractive to join the NDC. And I can tell you for free, if we even have a by-election in the MPP stronghold and we contest it fiercely, we will take it from the MPP. If you want, you can throw that challenge. Just let one of your MPs say he wants to resign, and let's test it and see whether.
It appears
no. Honestly, the NDC has become very attractive. The NDC party and the government has become very attractive. Honorable Musa will testify to that the party has become very attractive.
Is that the case?
They believe that the country is moving in the right direction. He hasn't done that survey yet. He hasn't done the survey yet. He hasn't done that survey yet.
He has done one on the cocoa prices.
I wouldn't use the word attractive as a poster, but the number shows that those who openly say they are NDC has gone up quite sharply compared to 2024 October data.
Yeah, but
clearly because the party has become attractive.
No, but let's
because the party has become attractive.
That was the narrative in this time.
Oh, Salam.
Salam. To identify with the NDC.
Salam. I'll come to you for
yeah, I'm saying the party has become so attractive that if we have a by-election today in the MPP struggle, say Ebuakwa or even Mensha, we will beat them to it. Okay.
Allow him to speak.
So what we've seen from the data is that as at October 2024, people who openly say they are MPP was about 37%.
Okay.
And those who say openly NDC, 33%. So MPP had 4-point advantage 2024 before the elections. After the elections, averagely, NDC around 40% average. Self-identified NDC sympathizers. And MPP is around 28-29%.
I see. So
their party has become so unattractive.
Salam disagrees. Salam.
Well, data. You just speak to the data.
Around
you speak to the data.
A while, and I have seen back and forth. You know, parties lose and come back, and the narrative is the same. Only the actors change. 2017, we're in this town. 2016. We gave the NDC a heavy thumping. I mean, many were the pundits who predicted that John Dramani Mahama was done with politics. He was retired. But as fate will have it, he returns and, you know, outperforms what he was undone with. In 2017, it was difficult to see, you know, an NDC, you know, flag in town, everybody was an MPP.
Are you sure?
In 2017.
Oh, it's not true.
It's the same narrative we are seeing, that usually when parties win with such huge, landslide victories, the goodwill, you find this narrative abound. But today, let's go back and put ballot boxes in the 40,000 polling stations in Ghana. You think the 1 million cocoa farmers
Marcella, you have just lost
terrible,
you have just lost Ayawaso.
Terrible.
You have just lost Ayawaso East constituency. You are saying today again.
We'll still go and vote for the NDC. No. You think the young people you have disappointed will still go and vote for the NDC? No.
But even with the cocoa prices, the government argues that this is happening globally. Global prices are dropping.
That argument is
even our competitors, their prices are lower than ours.
This is the first time in my mathematical.
I don't know why Salam is forcing so hard.
I'm not
find
so hard.
faults and problem with the government.
No, I'm not.
They are struggling. They are struggling to make the government unattractive. And I'm telling you, and data has supported it. Data has supported it. That the NDC and the government, John Dramani Mohammed's government, has become the most attractive commodity so far as the political parties are concerned. Your party has become so unattractive. And you see, accept your problem.
No.
Find your sickness. Go and find solutions to it. And stop going around in circles.
You are still in slumber.
Salam, stop going around in circles.
When you wake up to the smell of the coffee, you might be languishing far in opposition, because we have come out of it. And this kind of narrative disposition is what easily takes parties into opposition, because you are quite unaware when the people are removing the chair from your bottles when you are sitting on it. Don't take for granted the little disenchantment of people. And when they are speaking, you tell them that it doesn't matter. You are the most attractive party whatsoever. When utility prices are going up, when the jobs you promised them are not coming. Look, they are not robots. They are not idiots. They are not zombies that they will get up and vote for any party, one party, because of what? They don't have an option. No, let us get to 2028. Let us look at the dynamics that will play. Then we will see which party remains attractive. But of course, we have gone through an election. We lost. We are rebuilding our party. We are in the mode of reorganization. We will finish, we'll rebuild our party, rebrand it, and of course, we'll be fit for purpose in 2028. And we will give the NDC a very good run for their money.
So in 2024, you're not fit for purpose?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm only telling you that. But you know that after...
you say you'll be fit for purpose. That's so, let's... what you are saying. So mean that in 2024, you are not fit for purpose.
The first thing you do is reorganization, because the elements in the party would move a little bit. So every party goes through a period of reorganization to make the party fit for purpose for the next year.
Yeah, so
it doesn't mean that
you lost because you are not fit for purpose.
It doesn't mean that it was not fit for purpose in the other one. You build it for elections, and that's why we are building it for the next elections. But of course, you have also started your reorganization that will culminate at the end of the day your presidential elections and choose a flag bearer. We are going through elections. We have started ours. We are currently doing registration at the polling station. When we finish, we'll do polling station elections, electoral area, constituency, region, national, to cap it, all, and, support the flag bearer with the time we have.
And I'll come back to you for that, because we want to see how that would impact the polls, especially because you are dealing with a lot of factions within the party that has raised concerns about the choice of flag bearer. But we'll come into that.
No, there's not any
Musa Dankwa is still
problem with
and he's about to leave us shortly. So let me wrap up with Musa Dankwa, because he'll be leaving shortly. We're looking at the outcome of Ayawaso East by-election. You have predicted a win for the NDC. The NDC says that they have won the seat based on their internal polls. Well, yet to hear officially from the Electoral Commission. But then, your final thoughts on this as we wrap up with you?
You know, the final thought is that, look, polls are not imaginations of the pollster. And the pollster reports what is being told by the voters. And some voters, last minute, tend to change their mind, even in the ballot boxes. If you watch the last election, we were quite accurate on Baume's numbers. But Mohammed's numbers were off by 2% because those who were going to vote for other candidates last minute went to Mohammed. I think we saw this one today too. Yeah. People may have said to us they're going to vote for Baba Jamal. On the day they went for Umaru Sanda. That's why the numbers are the way they are. But broadly, they're the same, and the MPP numbers are within the margin of error. It means the movement happened between Baba Jamal and the other NDC candidates. So it's quite right, but polls are not actually divine. Things do happen, do change, but it will remain largely within the margin of error, plus or minus. And if somebody does better, it means the person has outperformed the polling numbers. As we saw in the MPP primaries, Brian outperformed the polling numbers, and Kennedy underperformed, and Baumia was bang on point. So it does happen. You have this movement, but it shouldn't overall throw the whole thing upside down, where somebody you said is going to win in a large election like that, then tend to lose, unless it's a very closely contested election. And
then you say that this will not make any change in Parliament,
no.
But then with the minority we have and their numbers, what do you think they can do if indeed they want to turn their fortunes around in the upcoming next general elections?
I think they need an introspection, honest discussion, and also be driven by data. I've seen a lot of things happening around them that is not really informed by data, and sometimes for me as a pollster it's worrying because I said they ought to know this, they ought to know this, and it seems they tend to go other way. And I think if they want to really come back strongly, they must be driven by data. Data informs their strategy, and then the communication goes with it. If these are misaligned, I think you will miscommunicate, and you will not be able to connect well with the voters. And that's what they should do.
And then with the NDC?
Well, they have to perform. They have only one thing to do. They have to perform. They have to be seen to have performed. If they fail woefully, I think the people will punish them. The key problem for them, I mean, as I can see as a pollster, is jobs. Job creation. They've done well on the economic sentiment is very good among voters, but people are still crying. The youth are crying about unemployment, which is quite high. So they must really do a lot more in that area of job creation. Enabling environment will help, and also trying to find initiatives that would really give the jobs to people. You know, it's the biggest risk we face at the moment as a country in terms of priorities of voters. And if you fail to deliver on their priorities, trust me, they will punish you.
They'll punish you. Say thank you so much, Mr. Dankwa, Executive Director for Global Info Analytics, for your time here in the studio. We appreciate your time. And he actually broke his fast right here in the studio. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. He's leaving us at this point in time, but we'll still touch base with our reporters on the ground. Currently on your screens, if you're watching on television and on myjoyonline.com, as well as other key platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram, you can see that we have that on your screens now, live visuals from the EC Collation Center. If you're listening to us live on myjoyonline.com as well as Joy 99.7 FM, let me just describe to you what exactly you can see. We have live visuals from the EC Collation Center. We could see that currently they are crunching the numbers. The presiding officers are there with them with their pink sheets, and they're just collating the numbers on their laptops as we speak. And shortly, the EC will tell us who exactly is Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso East constituency. Let's go on the ground now. My colleague Jacqueline Ansmayebo, as well as Fatau Bayaga, they're still on the ground engaging supporters of both the NDC, the MPP. I'll start with Fatau. Fatau, what can you report where you are?
Firstly, we are stationed outside the Collation Center here at and it's been a very packed atmosphere outside of the coalition center. Many of the supporters of the governing party are here in their numbers because, in fact, the NDC is often its coalition, and it's quite clear that their candidate has won this particular election. So if you look around, so many people have come here, and the security arrangement too has been very, very intense. You see police officers stationed in front of the coalition center wearing helmets, trying to foil any attempt to get into the coalition center where the most important activity is currently happening. The EC officials, some bigwigs of the various parties are also inside monitoring the election or the coalition process. We will begin to engage people here just to sample their thoughts as far as this particular election is concerned. But my colleague Jackie has been, monitoring this particular exercise since morning, and she's joined me here. Jackie, you've been monitoring the process. You went to a number of polling stations. What would be your impression?
Well, Fatal, I think the impression that runs through is the low voter turnout, because especially if you move to a polling station where they're expecting almost more than 1,000 voters, then at the end of the day they get roughly like 200. I think there's a problem. But then before, during the time of collation, earlier, I was speaking to a couple of the supporters right here of the governing party, and some of them were saying that when it comes to the fasting, they were resting, so that was why they were unable to come out to vote. Some of them came last minute, because when it was 11 minutes to pose, I could see Nima Post Office, for instance, you could see about 6 people trying to queue to cast their ballot. So for them, they are saying that is a problem, but from what I see, I don't even know what to say if the fasting is also attributed to that. And some of them were talking about the fact that today is a working day, it's Tuesday, it's not even Friday. So for them, some of them had to go to work, and they were attributing it to traffic and a whole lot more as to why they couldn't turn up to vote. But at the end of the day, we'll definitely get to know who is leading the Ayawaso East constituency.
Jackie, you have covered a number of by-elections in this country. One thing that always looks glary is when the various parties, particularly the governing parties, mostly go to support these constituencies. I remember the Akwetia constituency, among others. We saw roads were constructed, among other things. But here at the Ayawaso East constituency, looks like we've not observed anything like that.
Yeah, and I was telling you earlier off camera that we don't even know if it's because it's in the city, because in Akwetia, our reporter were Collins, and we saw roads being constructed, and according to them, there was no other day for them to do that. And even here, for me, I don't know for my other colleagues, and I haven't even seen it on social media yet, of issues of vote buying. I don't know if you came across that, where even people queuing, because in previous election we could see some members of parliament or even party executives coming around to serving as agents, or even giving food and water, and at the end of the day they would say that they are just giving them food and water. For me, in this enclave in the Nima area, I didn't observe that, but probably, I don't know for you. What about you?
I have not observed anything like that. In fact, I spoke with many voters who told me that yes, they came in their numbers to vote, but it was just one person who said, she was given transport to, commute to the voting center. Oh, okay. But then it was just one in a lot, right? So I've not really, seen a lot of people talking about the fact that they were given money and also whether they were given food and all of that. But Jackie, stay with me. Yeah. I would come to you for us to have a lengthier conversation as far as this is concerned. But let me begin to engage some people here in front of the coalition center who are monitoring the exercise from the outside of the coalition center. Thank you very much. You are live on Joy News. Let me start with you. What would be your own impression or assessment of this particular election so far?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Danjuma, a communications officer for Akwetia constituency. I am very impressed with the way and manner the elections. I want to thank the electoral commissioners, the police, and then you, especially the media, especially. You've done a marvelous work. And I think if you could assess the entire process, it was incident-free. There was nothing like influencing any of the delegates or the electorates to vote for any of the candidates. So my first impression of the election is that it has been very successful.
Your candidate, you came from the Akotia constituency where Baba Jamal contested some time ago and lost. But today, based on the NDC's coalition, he's garnered about 63% of the votes. Are you satisfied at all with that particular, result?
Yeah, yes, of course. We are satisfied. In fact, we were expecting to garner about 75 to 80% of the vote. However, as all of us are already aware about how by-elections are conducted, especially today being a working day, a lot of people were at their various workplaces. We had to call them, to speak to them, convince them to come and vote for Honorable Baba Jamal. And then, like I said, because during by-elections, people normally do not come out to vote. Again, the people of Nima were very convinced that Honorable Baba Jamal is going to win the election. So even as we entered several homes, we were informed that, Baba Jamal has already won, so there's no need for us to come out and vote. However, we managed to convince them, to tell them that it's not about Honorable Baba Jamal winning, but we want the margin. We want to prove to the people of Nima and the entire nation that Honorable Baba Jamal and the NDC are still in place to have them several development, and for that matter, we needed their vote, so they should come out and vote. Once again, we are in the month of Ramadan, and immediately the voting started, a lot of people were of the view that they wanted to relax a bit, and then when the time is due for prayers, after prayers, they will come and vote. Even after prayers, some of them still went back to sleep and said after the three prayers, the Asr prayers, they will come out and vote. Then after the Asr prayers, we realized that they were still not coming out to vote. So we had to again move from house to house and convince them again to come and vote. However, some came out to vote and others were very reluctant. But so we are pleased. We are pleased with the outcome of the election.
Thank you very much. Let me talk to the chairman now. You have also observed the process. In fact, people said that the controversies surrounding the NDC's primary here within the Ayawaso East constituency was going to affect Baba Jamal's chances in this particular election. His polls, based on your own coalition, his polls about 63%. What will be your reaction? Do you think that is a dip, or you expected maybe up to 70 or more?
Oh, thank you, viewers. My name, I'm Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Suhemanagboti from Ashama. Since in the morning we came here, we see things go slowly, but we see the attendance was low in the morning. But as my colleague has said, concerning about the Ramadan fasting and prayer, people were in the house praying. But during from 12 going, a little turn up is turning up. 3 o'clock we go to house, talk to people. People are coming. But in my view, where people are voting for Baba Jamal, a person who leave a high position, tap down to the lower level to save the youth from ghetto to the world, silver platter. He wants to save the youth and create a job for them, open them to go to a place for people to know. Baba Jamal has shown his gratitude.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. I will talk to you. Yeah. I think some supporters of the NDC have already begun celebrating here. Why?
And peace may come, but Baba Jamal has come to stay. Baba Jamal has a long way to go, but has come to stay.
But why are you celebrating at this moment?
We are celebrating because the people of Nima have spoken. We have decided to make a change. And enough of people pointing fingers at us. That we always elect an MP who goes to parliament and then they don't hear from him. Now that this has happened, we the Nima people have made a decision. We are using this opportunity to thank all the Ghanaian populated people who came and then support us. Our brothers and sisters from different constituencies all together. All right? You see, enough of certain things. We are for NDC. We are not doing human being. All right? 5 people contested. On the ticket of the NDC, 5 people contested. And the party people elected Baba Jama. All right? And Nima, we have so many developmental projects. When Baba Jama came and then contested previously, when he didn't win, he never left the constituency. He came again the second time. He didn't win. He never left the constituency. He was with us, doing everything, helping the constituency. So now that it is time for people to go for this by-election, he also filed for the nomination, and then he qualified to go.
Yeah. But you are jubilating at this particular point. The EC is yet to, in fact, declare the results. As we speak, collation is still underway. Why don't you wait for the EC to officially declare the results?
I can't say it's agrobeswa if you are not part. We know. We have made our coalition already. The declaration is already clarified. Don't forget we also have our coalition center. Don't forget we've been communicating with our pooling agent. Don't forget that we also have our record already. So we are just waiting for the EC to do the official declaration. We are in a comfortable lead. That is our belief.
As Ayawaso East a constituent, what would you want Baba Jamal to do for you? Because I have heard that there are a lot of challenges within the Ayawaso East constituency. You've not been able to get many of these concerns or challenges addressed. What would you want Baba Jamal to do at this particular point?
Baba Jamal is a native of this constituency. All right. Baba Jamal at least has been with us for some time now. Baba Jama, now I can boldly tell you that, knows what the people of Ayawaso need. All right? Baba Jama, as we speak, has been here for decades of years. Baba Jama, as we speak, has gone through all the lungus of all the East Ayawaso, and he knows our problem. All right? And you see, we have track record. Nima, we have been voting for NDC since 92. And we demand somebody like Baba Jama to come and also lead the terrain. Enough of people pointing fingers at us. You bring MP, he goes to parliament, he doesn't talk. This is somebody who already knows the terrain. This is somebody who has already been there before. This is somebody that when he gets to parliament, it is not now they are going to tell him this is your seat. This is somebody who knows the terrain already. So the people of Nima have made a decision. The decision we have made is a resounding one. It is a decision that is going to bind we ourselves, and we the delegates and the people of the East Ayawaso are also going to confess our support to him.
All right, so let me talk with a lady. I've been speaking with men, so let me talk to a lady at this point. You seem very excited at this moment, and you think that Baba Jamal has won this election. How do you feel at the moment?
I feel really elated with all the zeal around, with all the youth canvassing their votes behind him. It's a resounding victory. The Electoral Commissioner, as we speak, currently hasn't declared the final results. But with our collation from the ground, we know we have won massively. This is a massive victory, and it's something that is going down to the grassroots. Baba Jama is a grassroots person. Everybody who knows Baba Jama is not someone who is arrogant. He's a grassroots man. So I think when he is now the MP, as soon to be sworn in, every problem in East Ayawaso will be addressed. My only problem is don't sit at home and lament. Go to him when you have a problem.
But talking about winning massively, from 70% of the vote in 2024 to 63% at this particular election, don't you think that that's a dip?
By-elections don't have 100% turnout. There's no by-election that you have 100% turnout. So with this alone, it's good.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. So these are supporters of Baba Jamal.
MPs may come, but Baba Jamal has come to stay. Baba Jamal has a long way to go, but has come to stay. But the Baba Jama have come to stay. Baba Jama has a long way to go, but has come to stay. Hey! came all the way from Ayawaso West just to support our colleagues, yes, from Ayawaso.
We appreciate your time. Thank you very much. So, firstly, it's been an atmosphere packed with so many people at the front of the coalition center here at Nima. Many of the youth, in fact, are here jubilating in front of the coalition center, and as you can see, the security officers themselves are also in their numbers here, trying to manage every single situation that is unfolding at this particular point, because they do not want to allow people into the inner perimeter of the coalition center. Even media people, before you get in, you have to go through the necessary verification before you can get into the coalition center. So it's been quite a very tense evening here at the frontage of the coalition center, and we will be bringing you all the developments as they unfold here. And I appreciate all your time so much for talking to us at this point. Firstly, we'll be back to you with more updates from the coalition center.
The EC Collation Center. We know that to a large extent the NDC supporters are outside jubilating, but have you spotted any NPP supporter? To get clear connection to us. Fatau, I'm asking if you have engaged any NPP supporter outside the EC Collation Center. I know you've been engaging largely the NDC supporters. How about the NPP supporters? Oh dear. Well, I would still try to work our lines to get back Fatau Bayaga. He's on the ground live from outside the EC Collation Center. My colleague Stephen Mensah is inside the Collation Center as well. And we're told that shortly the Electoral Commission will be declaring the results for Ayawaso East by-election outside the EC Collation Center. If you're watching us on television, we can see heavy security presence, as well as members of the NDC supporters outside the EC Collation Center waiting for that juicy news from the EC. According to them, they have initial results from their stronghold, and they say that their party is leading by some 63% of the total votes cast. I still have with me Salam as well as Osman Ayariga, just to get updates on what we have on the ground. We know shortly the Electoral Commission will be telling us who exactly is Member of Parliament for the area. But Osman, you're quite optimistic that your party has won. Should that even be the case? What should we expect in that constituency in coming days?
It's 2 hours, 15 minutes after the close of polls. And still the MPP has no results to show. Salam and his party have not been able to collate results at Ayawaso East constituency. We provided our provisional results, I think, about an hour ago. And we have told you that after we collated all polling stations, the NDC candidate has won by some 63.3%. This shows you a party that is working. Initially, he tried to run down my director, IT, elections in charge of IT, Dr. Computer, Honorable Computer, and clearly he has shown how competent he is. Unfortunately, till now, his party is still exhibiting huge levels of incompetence. It's now 2 hours, 51 minutes. They still don't have results. So I just wanted to put that in perspective, put he and his party in perspective. A party that wants to come and run this country and just electoral results, they are unable to give us after almost 3 hours after polls have closed. Now, moving forward into Ayawaso East constituency, as I said, it's just a situation that has arisen, and Ayawaso East constituency, we had to go into a by-election. However, the reset agenda of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as I stated, Ayawaso East cannot be an exception. They are part of the reset agenda, and they will be included in almost every developmental plan that the president has for the country. So Ayawaso East would continue to see the development that the president has planned for them in terms of roads, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of schools, in terms of buildings, in terms of their drainage systems, in terms of their water systems, in terms of education, in terms of jobs for young people, and also in terms, especially in terms of the 24-hour economy agenda, which we just passed the 24-hour Economy Authority Bill, and very soon we'll be constructing the 24-hour economy markets across the length and breadth of this country. So you would see that it's not only about Ayawaso East. It's just that today we are zooming in on Ayawaso East because of the by-election. But there's a comprehensive plan where His Excellency wants to take this country to in terms of the reset agenda. And that's what we would continue to do. Clearly, Ghanaians have shown how they are excited about the fact that the government is moving in the right direction. So you realize that they are not interested in the cacophony coming from the NPP, the distractions coming from the NPP, the continuous fishing, the continuous fishing expedition they are on just to find fault with this government, which is not fly. Ghanaians are well aware. They are enlightened. They understand that in resetting the country that they have messed up, it requires some time, it requires a lot of diligence, and it requires a lot of planning. And that is what His Excellency is doing. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama didn't say that as soon as I become president, in a week, all problems will be solved. It is a 4-year mandate. And if you observe, in everything that we did, there were promises we said we'll do in the first 100 days. There are promises we said we'll do in 1 year. There are promises we said, oh, we'll do it in our 4-year term. So you realize that in everything we promised to do in the first 100 days, it has been done. In everything we promised to do within a year, it has been done. Just as we promised, some we gave timelines, some we didn't give timelines. So we realize that the Ghanaian people are following, and we continue to carry them along in everything that we do. So they get to appreciate what the government is doing, they get to understand what the government is doing, and they get to contribute to what the government is doing, because it is about the human development and also the development of the country as a whole. So the people of Ayawaso East constituency know that in terms of development, anything that is due them will be given to them, and whatever has already been given to them has been given to them. What is yet to be given to them will surely be given to them at the right time when it gets to their turn. Nobody will be left out so far as the reset agenda of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is concerned. No constituency would be left out. No district will be left out, unless, of course, you have decided not to be part of the reset agenda. But every Ghanaian would be on the reset agenda. Every Ghanaian will benefit from the reset agenda. I mean, Salam is already benefiting from the reset agenda. The economy is stable. He's enjoying. I mean, the economy is stable. He's able to easily buy fuel in his car. He said he just came from Kumasi. Hitherto, the cost of fuel last 2 years when his party was in power to go to Kumasi and back would have been different. But today, to fuel his car, to go to Kumasi and come back, he's making some savings. So he's enjoying from the reset agenda. He cannot say he's not enjoying from the reset agenda. That is a government that is working. And I'm surprised, Salam and his people.
I pay for electricity and water bill?
Oh, I'll come back to you. And okay. I'll come back to Salam as well.
You see, I'm struggling
I'm
not struggling. I'll speak to it. I'll speak to everything.
Bayaga is on the ground, and we'll come back to the studio because I know, Osman, you have answers for Salam. So, Fatal Bayaga, you're back with us. Glad to know that. I was finding out from you just before we lost you. Have you tried engaging any NPP supporters? Are they even outside the EC Collation Center? Fatal, you have to position rightly because currently we cannot hear you, and I'm sure our technical team, they'll be working with you behind the scenes to have that fixed. But when you do come back online and we can hear you clearly, we want to find out if you've tried engaging any of the NPP supporters and what exactly they've been telling you. But I'll come back to Osman because you had the floor before I had to go to Fatal. Salam, you raised a concern about the cost of electricity, and Osman, you were just responding to that and how your administration is tackling that.
Yes, I know citizens have raised concerns about some electricity bills and some meters that they think are running faster in terms of consumption beyond what is expected. And it's fine. That is what good governance means. Taking response from the citizens and working on it. There could be so many issues that could contribute to that. But we have taken all the issues. The Minister for Energy is working on it. I think he met PRC last week and he's asked ECG within 7 days to tell us what actually is the problem. Is it that there's some configuration or there are some problems with some meters? It's a technical space. So if there's a problem, that is why citizens speak to us and we listen. This clearly shows that this is a listening government. We have listened. We have listened. We have listened. Oh, please. We have listened to the people and we are working on it.
But
it's as simple as that. We're working on it. Salam, I'll come to you because I know you have your response. I saw you noting down your responses, so I'll come to you for that. But I'm told I have clear connection now to Fatal Bayaga. Fatal, have you engaged any of the NPP supporters?
Jackie, I have been looking for supporters, Faustina, I have been looking for supporters of the MPP at this particular point, but I seem not to find them around. We've been looking for supporters of the MPP just to also gauge their mood as far as this election is concerned. It's been quite difficult to get them here, but we are still working to see if we can get a lot more of them. Many of the people that are here seem to be supporters of the National Democratic Congress, and for them, they say that based on their coalition, they have won this election, and that is why they are here in their numbers, to hear from the EC and then to be quite certain that their candidate, Baba Jamal, has officially won this particular election to lead the people of the Ayawaso East constituency in Parliament. So that's been the challenge that we have at the moment, but we'll try as much as possible to get some supporters of the NPP to react to this. In fact, even though they did not hold a final rally before this election, they said that they door-to-door campaign, and that gave them the strongest of convictions that they were going to win this particular election. At the end of polls, when the votes began to trickle in, some supporters of the MPP were still quite convinced that they were going to, at least get something from this election. In fact, some of them said they were going to make history by being maybe the first party to beat the NDC in this particular constituency, knowing clearly that this area has always been held. In fact, one would say it's been a safe seat for the NDC since it was created. But the MPP said they were going to pull a surprise in this particular by-election, but that seems to be looking unlikely based on the votes that we are seeing here at the moment. So it would have been very interesting to get the thoughts of the NPP as far as this crucial election is concerned. But we are yet to get that, and firstly, we are looking at that critically, and that will bring that to you maybe when we get that. But the atmosphere here has been quite charged. The people are excited, particularly supporters of the NDC. They say that they are going to get someone who understands their needs, someone who would, bring development to the constituency. In fact, some of them said that he understands politics. He is very close to the NDC government, even though there were concerns that some people went to support the late wife of the late MP ahead of the by-election. But some of them believe that Baba Jamal is a very seasoned politician. He understands their needs, and he would make sure that development, particularly unemployment and other issues, will be addressed in this particular constituency. Firstly, in fact, we were waiting, patiently yesterday, particularly when the Democracy Hub went to the High Court to injunct this election process. The trial judge, Ajene Boateng, upheld the NDC's position that this particular application was defective, and in fact he described it as incompetent, and that was struck out, giving the way for the election that we are all witnessing today. But let me speak with some people here briefly to gauge their, mood as far as this crucial election is concerned. Pacho Oha, who election is saying?
Oh, election means a kokama. A copa, so the manager. Saying about the man in Fukumasiba, Kumasan to buy a Yoshua, Kukumas, Baroja, Michelle, I didn't kill him. Papa, Anthony, we are dealers, mounts and money now, we are bottom. So we didn't Fukumasiba. So we are coming from Kumasimba, to say, so we are to be a casse or move to just now. You find your Kukumasi. I didn't tell you so bad about them, also with Papa, we are good and Casa, we are minipa, we are car, we are. To work Masia, and said there was respect here, or I call up any more, or no respect to. And Tina Mamma Niaji, say Miss Mukumasia best water. Yes, it be a what Bambi be Debbie.
So this man says that he came all the way from the Ashanti region to support Baba Jamal. In fact, he was very convinced that Baba Jamal was going to win this election. It's not like Baba Jamal gave him something, but he just, know that Baba Jamal is a very good person. And that's the reason why he has come to support him. And this evening he is very excited, knowing that Baba Jamal is going to be the victor in this particular election. But we are constituent.
Matadas me be our Nicosis was and I need Jamie and this is wrong. Obian was a famous Maila Musa, Lake Mayanga Kotoko. And now, me support about me and this is wrong. My dear is 692 out to now. To Baba Jamal, I didn't break and so I'm supporting.
Thank you very much. So he says that he's been supporting the NDC since 1962 and he likes Baba Jamal. That's why he's here. But let me speak with a lot more people here. You have been monitoring the election since morning. Who do you support and what will be your impression so far?
Yeah, they will catch you.
No problem.
Okay, about one of them, if Bona is Richmond South, Bona is capital. Now, yeah, by the camera abano. And upon the kind of credit na abano. Na Osha said, corner. Na Osha marketing. Said a month for swap marketing, a question more idea more bano. Any faster na mimian cremo for a year. Na yem she say abano intimate quanimu. But Osha 2024, abana ya 2 years, now Osha current year idea. What kind of credit them, brother? O mama about 2024 no ene o mama about to ai current year 2026 about 2 years swati ti me the next time mesre say adam ni akwa ezongo committee no next time so mbeto aba e bia Saturday ana Sunday bi ana Monday bi dom no betima pia ba ba yere abeto because they say ye ko door to door ye wura mu no dodo na se wanja na adwuma embeto aba obi kwat mi kase maniska ansa na obayren obeto aba ntime de isi no na mepese abande eto ye de babia ni ho problem si ye ya anti problem bia sere man for se fa no ya hunni sa but so far so good say next time isi no se obehwe se zongo community no achirwa ne de eye ewe den abeba but about what that they mutimi tu abaneren esesa omuye nti say Monday ana Sunday Tuesday bi ha but ndẹ no se market day na questa ti mesre say mebo dampare so abato. Hey, yes, IGP no. O share said ye was a man who mambo for no se ba hanam no. Now o share said ye almost be ganu sabasabi anti mamba police stations in now to me say police for whom mambo for no party internet security na ko machi. No ma jama abanjuma for no problem bi ani ho a esi ba bi.
Okay, thank you very much. So basically why he said is that, I mean, it was difficult for them to get voters out to come and cast their vote. In fact, so in the morning, because of the low turnout, they were quite, scared that this would affect the chances of Baba Jamal. And the suggestion that he's given at the moment is that maybe subsequently they should consider holding the election during the weekend in order to get a lot of people out there to cast their votes. Some of them, in fact, told him that because they were working, it was difficult for them to come out. And even some of them were even demanding money before they could come out to vote. He also thanked the IGP, Christian Tetayehono, for his work and his men, in fact, for manning this election and ensuring that it ended in a very peaceful manner. So it's been quite interesting. Let me engage a lot more young people here. Yeah. You are a young person here in the Ayawaso East constituency. What would you want Baba Jamal to do at this point to help the constituency?
So first and foremost, my name is Jenko, and at this point, the whole NIMA issue, right, is bigger than just one person, right? I just don't want, if Baba Jamal emerges as the winner and the leader of this constituency, I expect him to do something much greater than the previous people who held power.
And what would that be?
You know, we need development in Nima. Nima is underdeveloped. Nima is underdeveloped. This constituency grooms intelligent, brilliant, smart children, but we have always been under notion of being dangerous, being violent, being gang related. But right now, that is not it. It goes beyond that, right? Right now, the violence Nima you know is not the Nima you know now. Before, you know, right now we are actually one of the most peaceful constituency you can think about. You don't slap someone and expect him to bow to you. That is what Nima has always been about, and that would be what Nima would be about. We would not pick nobody, but if someone picks us, we are not. That has been Nima for you. And the whole thing is, we would hold them accountable. The leaders who are ready to lead us, you wanted to lead. When we give you the power, we are going to hold you accountable for your deeds. Yes. You will not come and lie to us this time. Yes. We the youth are very serious about holding people accountable. Yes.
What do you want Baba Jamal to do? You've spoken about a lot of things, but I want to know specifically.
I want him to create jobs, good paying jobs. Yes, factories, if possible. Yes, it could happen. It could happen. The only difference between him and other constituency is just something little. We need that development. We need good schools. We need law enforcement agencies. We can't just allow anybody to do anything just like that.
You have a police post around?
We have police posts, but ask yourself, do they work?
They don't work?
Recently, something happened in Nima, in Mamobi, Nima Mamobi, which has sparked a lot of controversies. Someone injured someone just right in front of police. The police.
But those are allegations that we cannot substantiate. But stay with me. Let me engage this young man here. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, let me talk to this man. Please, what do you want Baba Jamal to do at this point?
Yeah, Chairman. Okay, I'm Samuel Achakwe. Okay, yeah, I'm part of the Nima University initiatives. Okay, so the reason why I came here today is I learned Baba Jamal was campaigning. Okay, actually advocating to champion the Nima University course. Okay, that's the main reason why I'm here. Okay, and that's not even the whole issue. Okay, right now, all that Nima we are saying right now is we need job. Okay, but beside the job, Nima is more like entrepreneurship hub. Okay, we need a startup capital because without capital you can't perform, no matter who you are. Okay, and it's always like hand to mouth, and we are so tired of that. So what I'm asking and begging Baba Jamal is to try and not plead to the stakeholders, especially the parliament and the government, okay, so that at least there could be some startup like a capital for every individual, regardless of where you're from, your party color or what. At least 20,000 will be enough, okay, for each individual as a citizen of Ghana. So far as you have a Ghana card, okay, Americans are doing the same, okay, 2,000 per citizen. So at least they should try and focus on that aspect so that at least we can be entrepreneurs, okay? Even with, what's the name, poultry farming, okay? You don't need to have a certificate before you can work. Okay.
Thank you very much. I would still come back to you for a lengthier conversation as far as this is concerned. But firstly, a lot of people are still here, and we are monitoring the developments right in front of the Coalition Center. And as and when anything pans out, we'll be here. We are your eyes on the ground, and we'll bring you that information. Back to you, Faustina.
So much, Fatal Bayaga, live from the EC Coalition Center just outside. My colleague Stephen is inside the EC Coalition, and Gemma Pierre as well, I am told right now, is also inside the EC Coalition Center. We'll be crossing over to her shortly, because on your screens, if you're watching on television, we can see the data there. On the EC live projector, as they are currently collating the numbers from the presiding members They are all gathered at the EC Collation Center, and that is happening live in the screens there in the EC Collation Center. And so we'll be crossing over shortly to them, because we know that very soon the EC will be declaring who exactly is Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso East by-election. The NDC says that they have won the seat. We've heard from Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa, who is also predicting a win for the NDC. But the NPP are certain that this seat is coming home. They are also trying to collate their numbers from their strong room. I'm told that the numbers will be trickling in shortly, and Salam is in the studio to just walk us through those numbers when they arrive. But then I'll take you to Gemma shortly. I understand that Gemma Pia is on standby. Gemma, what can you report? Gemma, can you hear me? I'm hoping you have clear connection to us and you can hear me loud and clear. I want to find out what exactly you can report from your collation center. The EC, we know they are collating the figures as we speak, and we could see numbers on display in that projector that you had for us. Gemma, what can you report?
So, Faustina, as you rightly said, I am inside the collation center, and the presiding officers of the various polling stations have actually gathered here, and they are submitting the results of the various polling stations, and that's being projected on the screen behind me. And the director of research of the EC is here, Frederick Tector. We'll be speaking to him shortly about the number of polling station results that have been collated so far and how far we have to go. But also with me here is an independent candidate, David Kano, who just contested. He's here monitoring the collation. David, welcome to Joy News. What do you make of the process, the voting process, first of all? How did it go for you?
Yeah, I think the process went on well. Everything was very fair and then clear to everybody. So by God's grace, we've come to the end of the voting process. We are now at the stage of the collation. So I believe the process currently is also going on smoothly. But it's just that as an engineer, I expected it to be more faster than what we are seeing. But in terms of the in and out of it, I think I'm okay. There's nothing much to talk about. We're only waiting for the declaration. Whether it goes our way or not our way, it's still an election. It's only one person that is going to win. No matter what the circumstances may be, it's only one person that is going to win. Yeah.
What has your party agents, those who represented you at the various polling stations, been telling you? I'm sure by now you should have a fair idea of the results.
Yeah, I have a fair idea. Some places we made some difference, some places too we didn't get that much. It all depends on our message, the message we sell to our people. And then I think some buy into it, some didn't buy into it. But that's an opinion. Everybody has his own opinion. So I believe we know our stand, but this is my first time of coming out to...
What's your stand?
Yeah, my stand is any outcome is what we are going by. Whatever the EC declares, or whoever the EC declares as the winner, that's what we are going by. And we are just one community. So whatever the result is, we are going to stand by the winner to help our community.
Are you following the collation of the results?
Yeah, I'm following it gradually. If you can see, I'm the only aspirant who is within the collation center here. And
why is that?
Oh, definitely. I wanted to see the actual process. I don't want to report. I want to see with my eyes, and then I can make my decisions out of it, going to the future, how to position myself and how to look at things in a different angle.
What's next for you? After the declaration, you say you have a fair idea of how the results will go, the final results will go. What is next for you?
As I said earlier, the way forward is we are going to support the winner because that's what the community has chosen and we have no option. So there's nothing we can do about it.
By that, are you implying that per the results that you have seen, you are not the winner of this election?
Yeah, currently we've not gotten an official report. So since we've not gotten an official report, you can't be claiming that you are the winner. I am not those type of politicians. Though I'm official, I'm not a politician, but I'm not those type that will be giving false hope to people. Well, the fact is a fact, because I believe in numbers. So whatever numbers I see is what we are going to work with. It's not giving false hope to your people, because we want peace. The most important is peace we are looking for. So if you know the grounds that you are not making it, you don't come and give false hope to people and say because of politics, you are just increasing people's tension just like that.
Thank you very much. David Kano is an independent candidate of the Ayawaso East by-election. We just spoke to him. He's monitoring the results that are being collated here at the Collation Center. He has a fair idea who the winner is, but he's waiting for the EC to pronounce the winner of this Ayawaso East by-election. We're supposed to speak to the Director of Research of the EC. We'll speak to him shortly. But as you can see, a lot of the polling, the presiding officers are here, and they are still giving out the results to those here at the Collation Center who are collating the results. You can see them there giving the results to the others so that they can collate it, and you can see that on the screen that the collation is ongoing. We do not know how many polling station results have been collated so far, but we have a representative, an observer, Mohammed T.D. Sakibu, and he's the constituency secretary of the NDC. Thank you so much for joining me. Do you know the number of polling station results that have been collated so far here?
Well, here they are still collating it, so I can't tell you how many, because our election director is there, so he will know. I may not know as a constituency secretary, but at least we've done our collation at our command center, so we've done with our own collation.
What does your own collation say?
We won. We've won. So that's what our coalition told me. We've won. We've won over 60-something%, you know. Only that the turnout was very low. The turnout was very, very, very low.
But I see that you are very calm, even though you say we are yet to hear from the EC after the collation of the results, but you look very calm, even though you say that you've won.
Yes, we've won. I look very calm because, in fact, we were targeting between 70 to 75%. Because of the low turnout, we couldn't achieve that. But all the same, we've won.
But how does that affect the outcome of the results, the low turnout you talk about?
No, it only affected the percentage, but nothing else.
What were you expecting?
We were expecting between 70 and 75%.
Why? Why 70, 75%?
This is our stronghold, and this is our traditional seat. Since '92, we've never lost this seat. So definitely, this is an NDC area. So why shouldn't we expect between 70 and 80%?
What do you think went wrong?
You know, it's a by-election. You know, in fact, this is the first time we're having a by-election in Ayawaso East. You know, so we've never encountered such a low turnout and this thing before. But people have been saying, those who have been having by-elections, you know, in other constituencies, they tell us, well, that is how it is. You know, with by-election, there are always low turnouts, and especially to this Azongo community, and with the fasting going on, this thing, people are very reluctant to come out to vote. You know, especially the women, during 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, they have to cook for their husbands and this thing. So coming out to vote, you know that they are very, very reluctant to come out, especially during the fasting. So that is the factor. There is another factor that we saw that that brought. So if it hadn't been the fasting, I'm sure we could have hit the 70–80%.
Some going into this by-election also, some said that it will be a test of the NDC's performance. I spoke to Peter Boamo Tukuno, the former Deputy General Secretary of the party, and then he said that the outcome of this election, especially the voter turnout, will determine or will be a test of the party's popularity. What do you make of that?
You see, that is what he said. But in fact, we are attributing everything to the fasting that the Muslims are doing. That's all. If not, we could have, as he said, it would have been a test, really. You know, so this is our traditional seat. I don't see any reason why we should lose this seat. You know, and we should always win with a wide margin. Even though it's low turnout, but we won with a very wide margin. We won with a very wide margin. So when they finish the coalition, you see the margin that we won with. You know, but we have done our coalition, as I said. We've done it, so we know what we had, and then this thing. It's a very wide margin that we had.
So you heard me speak to a member of the NDC, a constituency executive, Sakibu, who says that per their own coalition, the NDC's coalition, they realized that the Baba Jamal is in a comfortable lead, and so, but they are calm because this is not the percentage that they were expecting. They were expecting somewhere between 70 and 75%, but according to him, per their coalition, Baba Jamal got about 60%, and they're not so happy about it. They are attributing that to the ongoing fasting among Muslims, the fact that because of the fasting, especially the women couldn't come out in their numbers, getting to the end of the polls to cast their ballots. But that's the constituency executive, Sakibu, there. But here at the Collation Center, the EC is continuing with its collation. The presiding officers are here, and they are one after the other approaching the table to deliver their results, and the results are being displayed up there. You can see the results trickling in from the various presiding officers. That's the situation here, Faustina, at the Collation Center at St. Kizito at Nima. Everything is smooth. You can see that the party agents are also monitoring the results that are being collated, and they have not complained about anything yet, and we are only waiting for the EC to complete its collation and come out with the results and announce the winner. Faustina.
And we're looking forward to the outcome of that collation. So far, we know that there are 113 polling centers, and you tell us that the presiding members are approaching the EC bench to table the figures. We can see that they are actually tabulating those figures, and we're looking forward to the Electoral Commission within a matter of minutes to declare who exactly is the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso East following that by-election. I still have with me key individuals from the NDC and the MPP in the studio, Salam Mustafa and Osman Ayariga. Just before we went on that quick break, Salam, you had the floor, and I was just finding out from you, have you received results yet from your collation center?
Of course, of course. Like I said, I mean, we do collation.
Okay.
When it comes to collation, I'm not sure any party can beat us. We have one of the most sophisticated collation systems, if not in the world, but in the first party to have a faster collation system than the EC, like we saw in 2016, that we're able to collate way ahead of the EC. And over the period, we have perfected our collation system. So we are able to collect in a very good record time. So as I sat here I was monitoring our collation system as well. I knew where the collation was taking place. I mean, I have seen you know, some of the videos, you know, that MPP members are not at the coalition center, so they are not, you know, available for interviews and, you know, all that. Of course, when you see the trajectory of the results, you're able to tell whether it will go well or not. And
so are you conceding defeat?
I would wait for the EC to do the final declaration, because they can declare what we do. Likely is projection, but of course we are done with 113 polling stations, and of course, I mean, the results has gone south, and you know, we'll wait for the EC to declare it. A good run.
The results have gone green.
It's gone south.
It's gone green. It's gone green.
Let me doff my hat to for the regional team led by Chairman Divine Abohon and the entire Greater Accra leadership, the yeoman's work they have done in the last few weeks, the constituency executive, and the candidate. Baba Ali is so affable and has worked so hard. I've done some of the rounds with him. I have seen how people have gone around and worked with him. And in Ramadan, fasting and, you know, with the schedule that we run, look, once the pool is done, we had, you know, a system where we started campaigning from 10 to about 2, break, and start again after Lasr, you know, to breaking of fast. And after Isha, all the way to about 10, 11, you know. So it's been rigorous in the last few weeks and days, combing through the nooks and crannies of Ayawaso East. And I commend them for the work that they have done. And I think that, you know, they shouldn't feel, you know, let down, but I think it is the start of a wonderful build up to 2028. But what is instructive in the result is the fact that the NDC is languishing around 63%. I think it's quite an indictment on the government and the party. It shows a growing level of unpopularity. Okay, you like it or not, you can wish it away, but apathy is setting in. Your people are getting disillusioned, and it is telling in the results. You can admit it or not, but this is the truth, that something is wrong with the system. It is not working. You can pretend all you like. The bigger pool would expose you. So you can lie to yourself that you are the most, you know, attractive party and so on and so forth. But as the fallouts begin to coagulate, the basket begins to fill up, the equation will balance. And by the time you wake up to the smell of the coffee, you are in bad place. And for people in government, every little thing, they are quick to idolize the president and sing praises and make the president look good. Wherever he's sitting, he feels, you know, he's on top. Whilst on the ground, there is an absolute disconnect with reality. Today, not being able to even get 65%, clearly, if you do not go back to your drawing board and go back to the people and ask them the true feeling and the disappointments that has caused this drop in numbers, you wake up at the wrong side of your bed. And for me, I am sure that by the time the NPP is done with its reorganization and we pick the issues one by one to tell the Ghanaian people how they have been scammed, how they have been lied to, how they have been deceived, how they have been frauded by this NDC and the cohorts.
Allegedly.
No. Look, it's not allegedly. We have been scammed as a people because all the promises that they have made to us, I'm telling you, They have not fulfilled any of them. When you ask them, the only thing they tell you, when my brother starts to speak, my junior brother Osman, he will tell you, and the dollar has come down. Hasn't the dollar come down? But he will not tell you that cost of living has not reduced.
But how is reorganization going for you as a party?
Fantastic.
But you are conceding that you've lost the seat, right?
Oh, of course. The seat, I mean, the election is done. It's done and dusted. Okay. You know, from our coalition system. We have seen the results. So that is not a matter of debate at all. But I'm telling you that... One
more seat in Parliament lost. How do you plan?
No, it was their seat already.
Yes,
yeah,
but then this was your chance to at least get that seat.
Already. Well, I mean, we will take it in our stead. And I'm happy that some of us who stood with the decision that we should contest feel vindicated. Because people would have said, I mean, and there were those who were of the opinion, this is a die-in-the-wool NDC, ambience, constituency, so to speak. So why do you people want to, contest, waste your time? So no, it's not waste of time. This is politics. The fact that we have spent days and weeks running through the nooks and crannies of the constituency, our people feel energized. And that's how to prop up, a party when you are down, that you give confidence back to your people. And I'm sure today the party, the NPP in Ayawaso East is not the same. And if they were in comatose, today there's a bit of energy that we have pumped in over the period. And that gives them the pedestal to continue to work for the party. Reorganization is going very well. Against all odds, how people thought, we're getting it wrong with our presidential, election or the system to get our presidential, candidate elected first and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, we ran one of the most peaceful presidential primaries ever seen in our political, history that almost everyone has commended and praised the NPP for. Now we are back into the party to reorganize it. Our polling station, those who are no more there, those who have passed away, fresh elects on board. After that, we'll do the electoral area, and we are doing some expansion as well. We'll add the new people coming on board, with some fresh best of ideas and energy and so on and so forth. Then we'll do constituency, regional and national by September 8th and 9th. And the party would have been done with its reorganization, pending parliamentary, where we'll take our time and look at all these seats again and take appropriate decisions, how to, manage our parliamentary elections. Once we have time, one of the factors that worked against us in 2024 was time, the factor of time. We finished our presidential elections late in the day in 2023, November, and immediately went into parliamentary elections, for orphan constituencies. We finished orphan constituencies and did that of the sitting MPs. By the time we were done, somewhere February, we had to go to the field and campaign for votes. So we're left with time to do very important activities like reconciliation, detailed profiling that we needed to do, and so on and so forth. Now we have time to do all that. The presidential candidate has about, 2.5 years to reach out to everybody in the party, all of us, working in tandem to ensure that the party is absolutely aligned and in one unit, united, up against the NDC. And once we say that we are coming to beat you, we'll beat you well. One thing my friends, don't get is that, look, okay, they stayed, let me make this point.
No, I'll come back to you to make that point because Osman has been very quiet. He's waiting just to give you a response, but Stephen Mensah is on the ground and he's having a conversation at the EC Collation Center. Let's take you there live.
And as you can see, we are moving very fast, as I put it. We are left with about 29 more to go. So we are on course.
So how likely are you going to finish this?
I can't tell you. I can't give you minutes. I can't give you hours. But as you can see, I think it's just 38 minutes past 8 o'clock. So we are on course. Hopefully, before 10, we should be out of here.
Have you seen any infractions from the part of presiding officers with the tabulation of this data so far?
So far, no. So far, no. I think they've done a very good job in terms of the figures, the entries, the completion of the statement of poll, and then the results portion of the pin sheets. They've done very well. So we are moving on steadily, as I said, and very soon we'll finish and have the results declared.
Thank you so much. So some minutes ago, the NPP's parliamentary candidates for the Ayawaso East parliamentary elections arrived. We'll be getting his thoughts though, but then currently what's going on will be the tabulation of the results from all the presiding officers. I'd want us to get your thoughts of the parliamentary candidates for the NPP.
First March, but because of our by-election, we will begin ours in some days to come. That will be our focus for now.
Have you called Baba Jamal to congratulate him? And it's rarely do we see losing candidates come by the coalition center as well.
Yeah, this is a normal thing. I'm sure he will come here very soon. So officially, I will congratulate him. I can even use this medium to officially congratulate him. And when he comes, we'll also go through the normal formalities, congratulate him, and we'll move on.
Just the last one in terms of the concern about development for the constituency. You've mentioned that largely. Is this something you're willing to work with him with towards helping the people of the constituency where you say they've been neglected for a long time?
I will continue to be a voice in the community, a voice that will speak up. Things that are going wrong, will point it out and be a strong advocate for the people of Ayawaso East. That's what we are going to do in the coming days or the years ahead. We are in government, they have the MP, they have the MCE. Developmental agenda will be their total responsibility. Ours is to point out what is not going on right. If they can check and correct it, that is it. We will be an alternative voice for the good people of Ayawaso East.
Thank you very much.
All of you bear the name Baba, so forgive me for that. So Baba Ali, let me find out from you.
So that'll be the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the Ayawaso East constituency, and he's been giving his thoughts on the electoral process and what he makes of everything so far. He has already conceded defeat. I'd want to go back and get his reactions though on what he makes of his defeat.
That is a perception. There has never been any election in Ayawaso East where people in Ayawaso East, NDC, NPP, will engage in a fight. It has never happened. It has never happened. But we know that there may be few occasions where people will be taken from Ayawaso East to go and cause mayhem in other places. But for it to happen here, it has never happened. You know, we live like brothers and sisters. You have relatives who are NDC, some are MPP. We live together. We are fine with them. So I don't foresee that to happen in the near future where MPP, NDC will engage in a fight all because of election. No, it won't happen.
Okay. What was your message to constituents in this election?
The message didn't bring the votes. So why do I have to re-echo the message?
But probably it didn't go as you expected. So we want to know the messaging.
Oh no, I don't think we should be speaking about messaging at this time. There is an MP elect. We congratulate him. We'll move on.
I want to know, are you disappointed?
Why should I be disappointed? The election is like a game of football. You win today, you lose. Yes, so it's normal. It's normal. And if you can't stand the heat in politics or losing an election, then it's better you don't venture. Yes. The Arsenal fans, they can tell you this better. Yes.
Last time you spoke, you were highly optimistic of a win.
Sure.
You said you'll be uprooting the LDC, who have been in this constituency for quite some time.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
So what's your next step?
Next step, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to focus on the reorganization of the party. Reorganization. Yes, that will be our focus for now.
Right. So that will be the NPP's parliamentary candidate for Ayawaso East, Baba Ali Yusuf, and he'll be competing, or he was competing with the NDC's Baba Jamal, the LPG's Ibrahim Idrisu, and 2 other independent candidates. And he has already spoken about his loss and what contributed to his loss. He says the message did not really resonate well with the people of Ayawaso East. However, what his next step will be to serve as a deciding voice, as a resonating voice with all the people here. He'll be talking to them and ensuring that he keeps Baba Jamal accountable for his actions as Member of Parliament. So, Faustina, as you can see on your screens will be the tabulation of the results from all the presiding officers. You have the last we got from the Director of Research, we have about 84 done so far out of 113 polling stations.
Much, Stephen Mensah. Thank you for giving us that update. Stephen is live at the EC Collation Center together with my colleague Gemma Pierre, and they've been monitoring the numbers there at the EC Collation Center in Nima. They tell us that shortly the EC would be declaring the figures because they have done quite a number of the collation centers so far and the polling centers so far. The presiding officers are with them there, and they are sure, they are very sure that shortly they will be declaring the results. But I still have with me a member of the NDC and the MP in the studio, Salam Mustafa, National Youth Organizer for the NPP, and also Osman Ayariga, Deputy National Youth Organizer for the NDC. He's also CEO of the National Youth Authority. And just before we went on break, I know that Salam had the floor, and I'll come back to him because he was making salient points. But then let me come to Osman. We're hearing from Salam tell us that they have received results from their stronghold and they have considered defeat. But they're raising concerns that the percentage margin with which you won this seat is quite troubling because based on your performance in 4, this is a drop.
I'm surprised from the kind of analysis my brother Salam is doing, because tentatively we all agree that there's been reduction in terms of the voter turnout. This is not a main election, this is a by-election. Now, if you even look at in terms of percentages and the results, and the fact that there was an independent candidate in the race, by all means it will have some effects on the candidate. But I think it should have had a greater effect on us. But however, the margins which they also lost showed that their party and their candidate also wasn't attractive enough even for their own party members. Because if you look at the percentages, in 2024, the general election, the NDC was in 70%, the NPP was in 29%. Currently, from our results, the NDC is 63%, the NPP is also doing 23%. We lost about 6%, they also lost 6%. So if there was an independent candidate even coming from the shoot of the NDC, we should have lost more in terms of percentage. But they also lost 6% from the previous election. So clearly they didn't even have an independent candidate. So it was they alone. Yet their NPP supporters felt their party isn't attractive enough even for them to vote for them in this by-election. So I don't think the voter turnout should be as a result of the fact that, and he's trying very hard to intertwine it and weave it into the administration of the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And you can see him trying very hard, you know, to marry the two. But it's just not compatible. It's not really weaving and gelling very well. It's a by-election. By-election has its own complexities. It has its own dynamics. sometimes considering where, when, and how the by-elections are conducted. I told you, I've seen by-elections where even when it falls on a market day, it affects the entire by-election. Sometimes even when it falls on a weekend. I mean, there are some religious sects, in example, in the Eastern region. I think even SDA, Savior Church, if you hold a by-election in that area on Saturday, they would not vote. Because those are what they adhere to, that Saturdays are not for work, it's not for anything. So they will not even vote. So if you go and have a by-election on that day, on a Saturday, and people, due to some religious practices, do not come out to vote, how can you now say that because the government or maybe the candidate is unattractive? So for that matter, it means that that's why they didn't come out to vote in those numbers. And you know that is a time of Ramadan. It has its own effect on the people. They are tired, they are stressed from fasting and even the time. And today the sun was extremely hot. The weather was extremely hot for most people to come out and vote. But at the end of the day, we still beat you 63% from our results. And you are roaming around 23%. Your own party people didn't come out to vote for you. So trying very hard to rope in His Excellency John Dramani Mahama would not wash. And I still want to make the point that, yes, they have lost. It was expected. He himself knows that there's no way they could have won this by-election. He knows. They just needed to make an appearance to just, whip their base that the MPP is still an existing entity, so they shouldn't lose hope, especially in their time of reorganization. But that is understood. I've told you that NDC has become so attractive that in any by-election we find ourselves in this administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be taken by the NDC. Even if it's in the MPP stronghold, it's going to be competitive and we will take it. He knows that now there's nothing like an MPP stronghold, NDC stronghold. The people have risen enough to know that we vote based on what we see, what we have heard, and what we believe in. And the people believe in the administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And that is solid. He is delivering on his promises. He is delivering on the research agenda. And everybody can see it, they can feel it, they can hear it, and they can experience it.
Okay.
That is what it is. So I can sympathize with my friends on the MPP with such a loss. In fact, it's not even a loss because it was never really their seat. But, such a good appearance, they have done well. They should just continue with their reorganization. I thought the MPP wouldn't have even contested in this by-election. I didn't expect them to have contested in this by-elections. I'm surprised they actually showed up. I don't know what made them show up for this by-elections. But, well, it's within their right to choose whichever position they want to stand in terms of a by-election. But I wish them well in their reorganization, even though we also believe that even the approach to their reorganization is disorganized.
You're also doing some internal reorganization.
Yes, and we have told them. We have told them.
Your CEO
we have
for
told
your national position.
Now for now we are dealing with the MPP's reorganization. Okay. We have told them that they are approaching.
Okay. You see?
Oh, no.
Okay, no.
For now, we are dealing with the MPP's organization.
Okay. When a party is integrating, that's how you suffer.
How do you suffer? We are not suffering.
Yeah, you suffer.
I mean, between for our reorganization, yes, there are some regulations that have come out.
Yeah.
And of course, like any person, you are not an island on your own. You have to do some consultation, you have to do a lot of inspection, and sometimes you need to look at the clarion call, sometimes not by your personal interest, but you look at the universal or the entire interest of the group and the party. How is it going to help the party? How is it going to help the government? And that will help you to make an informed decision. You don't decide based on your feelings or based on what you think. Something you need to look at the collective interest of the party. How is it going to help the party? And you take a decision based on that. So once we get to our reorganization, decisions will be made, positions will be taken, and people will stand firm what they want to do, and what we want to do will be done. So that's when we get there. We surely cross that bridge. But for them, of course, we've told them that even the approach to their reorganization wasn't even the best of approach. But they continue to defend it. That now they are doing the what do you call it, top bottom approach. But if you are doing the top bottom approach, if you start from flag bearer, the next thing you should do is national executive elections. Not so. Then you come to regional executive elections. Before you come to constituency and you come to branch, you go and do national flag bearer elections. They now come and start from the bottom. What kind of approach is that? It's like you've turned it upside down. You've turned it upside down and scattered it.
To talk about something.
But you said you are doing. Listen,
very limited.
You say you are. But we run political parties.
Your party
I'm coming. No, I'm coming. I'm coming. The problems you face in your party are relatively the same problems we face in our party. In opposition and in government, they are the same problem because we are dealing with the same set of human beings. Nothing has changed. It's the same people we are dealing with. The same problems you face in opposition are the same problems we also face in opposition.
It's not going to work.
Well, we have advised them that that approach is not going to work.
Advice.
We have advised them from experience. We have advised them. The longest serving general secretary in the history of politics in Ghana, who has been through it and knows that this way is not going to help your political party. We have advised them. He has advised them. Everybody has advised them that we want the MPP to remain in opposition as a formidable opposition party. We don't want a scattered MPP. We want them to be formidable so that at least they also serve as a check. But if they are disorganized, how can they serve as a check on government? So we expect them to be well organized. And that is why
here to your benefit.
No, it pains us. You see, when you don't have a well organized opposition, as human beings, you may be tempted to take certain things for granted. So we want a very organized opposition, so that if we are along the line, there's a bit of a VA, then they can whip us back in line. That is what opposition parties are for. But if you have an opposition that is disorganized, is in disarray, it doesn't have any proper direction, it affects even us in government. And that's why we continue to advise them. We want you to organize your party very well. We want it properly organized. And the approach to your reorganization is going to lead to a disorganization. But they refuse based on the kind of interest they have, and people must be saved, people must be pushed, people must be put at certain places. But we wish them well. We wish them well in their reorganization.
I see. And thank you so much, Osman Ayariga. He is Deputy National Youth Organizer for the NDC. He's also CEO of the National Youth Authority. I'll wrap up briefly with Salam Mustafa, because very soon I'll be handing over to my other teammate, Kofi AJ, as we just get ready for the EC's big announcement. So, Salam, your final words. I know you're also trying to protect your seats right now, even within the party, with campaigning ongoing.
He's going for a bigger one.
Yes, he's going for a bigger one as
so
well.
He's not protecting what?
But
yeah, first and foremost, we will not take lessons from a brutal. That we will not take at all. The NDC cannot advise us. And more so, you are not, more experienced than we are. We may be in the same political ecosystem, but we do not operate on the same wavelength. Your constitution is different from ours. And the philosophy and tradition of your party is different from mine. You are a party born out of a coup, and we are a party born out of a tradition of rich history. So the two are not the same in any form or shape, even though we are in the same political market.
Briefly.
We understand our party,
okay,
and we have worked within the remit of the Constitution, what the Constitution has told us to do. And it is not top-down or whatever. We have made this point very clear, that the presidential election is a standalone, and the other structural elections are also standalone.
I see.
And by the grace of God, when we finished, all of you have applauded the MPP for running one of the most incredible presidential primaries this country has seen.
Okay.
And the party is still in the process of ensuring that we complete the reorganization in good time to give ourselves ample period to reorganize the party very well for the next elections.
Okay.
For me, I mean, like I say again,
briefly.
Yes, I am, totally, happy, excited with what we have been able to achieve in Ayawaso East, with the energy we have been able to pump. And I would ask party people that we continue to, work hard in our reorganization bid to put our party in shape for 2028.
Thank you so much. My guest in the studio, Salam Mustafa, National Youth Organizer for the NPP, and Osman Ayariga, Deputy National Youth Organizer for the NDC. I appreciate your time, gentlemen. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Now, my colleague Kofi AJ is in the studio, and I will be handing over the baton to him. I'm looking forward to the declaration of the results, but already we have the NPP declaring defeat, and the NDC are quite optimistic that this seat is theirs. I'm looking forward to the outcome, Kofi.
Well, a lot to be discussed here on PMS Press, and if you hear that.